underground, a devil's dream. Fire rains, the battle calls. Demons dance as heaven falls. Warriors wail, the damned ignite. Infernal's wrath, eternal night. Steel fights, the heavens quake. Flesh and bone, the earth will break. Ashes rain, the reapers feast. Darkness spreads, the crimson beast. Thunder cracks, the end draws near. Hope drives in the ocean of fear. Angels whip their wings in flame. Lost to the void, none remain. Fire rains, the battle calls. Demons dance as heaven falls. Warriors wail, the damned ignite. Infernal's wrath, eternal echoes fade, the war is done. A blood-red sky, a blackened sun. Souls consumed, no path to light. Hail victorious endless night.
Hello! Hello out there, sup fuckers! Hello, how we doing? Let's go here. Should be able to see me. Wee! Hello! That's not what I wanted. Hide that. Hello, hello, hello. How are we doing today, everybody? Today is, what day is today? Today is Thursday, August 21st. It is not too hot outside so far, I'm happy to report. It does not feel like hell out there at the moment. We're having a good morning so far. Ozzy is playing with a toy at the moment. Ozzy, can you bring it here? You want a treat? Come get a treat. Come in. Let's see. Oh. Let's see here. Let's get Ozzy a treat set up real quick to get the thing started. Oh, did you drop your toy? I got to take the toy away because he's pulling the stuffing out of it. Oh, they're over here. Oh, they're over here, huh? Go to your place. Place. No, place. Good boy. Good boy. There you go. Wait. Can you shit talk? Can you shit talk? Can you shit talk? Good job. Go get it. Anyway. Oh, let's get rolling, everybody. It's a beautiful day today. Cops are swarming my apartments right now. They are everywhere outside. I think there's some kind of like standoff or something happening. If I were to assume, I would assume that they were trying to harass somebody, you know, knowing cops. But what are we doing today? We are playing some Stardew. We are playing some news, talking about some things. There's some fun news going on all over, because of course there is. Why wouldn't there be? Let's turn... Okay, interesting, interesting. You're able to hear that, right? Oh, there we go. There's some music. Let's turn that down to probably around like there. Just have that be right there. And we'll say that that's good for now. We'll put it right there. And somebody at some point will let me know if that's an issue. Right. So, how's everybody doing today? I hope you're being safe out there. I hope everything's going swell. I hope the world's treating you decently. We are going to see if we have any cheese questions today. Gonna play some Stardew. Gonna listen to some news. I say let's just go ahead and get things rolling. I'm already about 7 minutes in, 8 minutes in. No reason to prolong the inevitable. I don't think there's anything really going on right now for me. I need to blast off that I'm live. Let me do that right now. I don't think there's too much going on in my life. I am going to be hanging out with some family this weekend, going to be meeting somebody, going out for dinner tonight in a little bit with a friend, so that'll be fun. That'll be a good time, hopefully. Haven't gotten to see them in quite a long time. And then next week, I have another cheese class on Monday, so next week I'll be preparing for that, so getting some, family time, visiting time out of the way. Gonna try to set up a play date for Ozzy this upcoming week. That should be a fun time. He always has fun doing it anyway. Which photo do I like more? Go with that one. We'll go with that one. This is a post or a story? That's a post. I just want to do a story. Anyway. Let's see. That photo. La-di-da-di-da. Stardew Valley helps the fascism go down. Stardew Valley times. See a link. Done. All right, let me just share that, and we are blasted off. Hello, I hope everyone's doing well today. We are all rolling, ready to get started. Let me switch over to whee, here we go, over to the little face. Right, and now we got Stardew up, we've got our settings all set. I think we're ready to go. How's everyone doing today out there? I hope the world isn't treating you too poorly. Cops have descended upon my living space at the moment. There's some kind of standoff happening right now. I woke up though and went outside, and being greeted with like 8 different cop cars with their sirens on was quite a way to get the day started, but we persist nonetheless. Cops ain't gonna get me down. Not today, anyway. We've got farming to do. Oh, goodness. So we've got some farming to do. Let me turn down the music just a little bit and keep the sounds up. We'll put that like there. We'll put that like there. Anyway. I hope, again, the world is treating you well today. It's not too hot today, luckily. It is pleasantly, there's a nice breeze going through. At least it was about an hour ago. I don't quite know at the moment, but hopefully it's not too terrible where you are. I know we have a hurricane coming through. Hurricane Aaron's going to be coming through at some point. Apparently it's gaining speed, traction. I don't know how devastating that's going to be. I haven't really looked too much into where it's specifically going to be hitting, as there's too much climate disasters to be able to even keep up with if we tried to right now. I mentioned today's luckily not too hot. Every other day this week it's been absolutely hell outside. Just incredibly hot. Like you walk outside and you can feel the sun bouncing off of you. You can feel the sun rays. It's absolutely horrifying. You've got places like Vegas where it hits 126 degrees. Ooh, a farming level. You know that though? It's not 126 degrees in Stardew Valley. I know that much. How is everybody doing today? I hope everybody's doing well. Welcome in, everybody. It is a beautiful day. Cops are everywhere. We've got Trump is praying to God, it seems. For I don't really know how else to describe it, but he was talking with people, or he was during the Zelensky meeting talking about ways in which he could make sure that he gets into heaven. Let me see if I can pull that. Yeah, I'll go ahead and pull that up real quick. This is a funny video. It made me laugh quite a bit anyway.
Donald Trump has said that the reason he's so keen to bring peace around the world is, well, he wants to go to heaven. Have a listen.
We're not losing American soldiers. We're losing Russian and Ukrainian, mostly soldiers. Some people as missiles hit wrong spots or get lobbed into cities. If I could save 7,000 people a week from being killed.
Sorry, y'all.
I think that's a pretty. I want to try and get to heaven if possible. I'm hearing I'm not doing well.
I gotta say, it's kind of nice to hear a politician talk about heaven and examining the state of his own soul. Of course, people
openly saying, "I'm not doing too
him.
well."
And I loved atheists saying that we don't believe in heaven, but if heaven existed, you would not be welcome. They said that with all the confidence of people who are absolutely sure heaven does not exist. It's like saying we don't believe in unicorns, but if unicorns did exist,
I need to water the dog.
Well, I think he said it a little bit in jest, but the principle there that your leader is actually under the authority and actually accountable to someone above them, I think that's really, really nice. It's something that made the Queen an incredible monarch, because there was a sense she's actually accountable to God. So you can't, she doesn't want to use her power to further herself, it's to serve the people. So, you know, Trump was saying it in jest, but I still like it.
I still like it too. I think it just shows a bit of character.
Yeah, and saying he wants to be a better man.
I don't like it.
Who could
Love
not
that.
that?
Just personally speaking, I do not like it. It's really strange this humanization of Trump. I mean, he's been, as far as I have been able to tell, since the assassination attempt, people have been playing more on his narcissism and saying more and more often that he is oh man, I'm out of water. And saying that he's getting closer to God, and that he's starting to believe the idea that he was saved by God specifically. And he's, I think it was Mike Huckabee that said to him that over Twitter or X, whichever you call it, I prefer to dead name it. He said over X to Trump that God saved him specifically to ensure that funding would be able to get to Israel. And so, like, people know that they can play into his narcissism this way, and they can say these things in an attempt to try to rub him the right way. But, like, we hear about his ankle. Maybe he's maybe he's actually at the end of his days. Maybe he's actually towards the end of his times. Maybe he knows something that they're not telling the general public about what's coming. But I mean, it feels pretty in line that a narcissist would completely believe that he was going to be saved by God specifically. Is that right, Oz? I need to go... Ooh, salmon berries. I need to go collect salmon berries today. That's what I need to do. Yay, salmon berry day. Dee-da-dee-da-dee-da. Hi, comrade. Hello, welcome in. How are you? I'm doing pretty swell. I'm just playing some Stardew while I react to some news. I'm doing pretty good, though. It's not too bad of a day today. Things are going beautiful outside, for the most part. I hope you're doing well. I hope things are going well for you. I hope you're being safe. Safety is important. Safety is in. it's getting harder and harder to be safe out there. But we were just talking about how Trump's relationship with God is ever growing. Oh my. Specifically, as he's had some health problems recently and signs of his ankle. What is it? His ankle grew three times that day, just like the Grinch. But as he talks about the ways that he's going to get into heaven, it sounds very familiar to the, bargaining at the end of your life of, oh, I've never been religious, but surely if I do good things or if I believe at the last moment, I'll be able to worm my way into the pearly white golden gates that lie before ahead of us. But the reflection of your life and looking back on what you've done and as it comes time to meet your maker, should you believe in that sort of thing, feels very in line with, again, the narcissism that Trump has, that he would believe that God saved him from the assassination attempt simply to save America in this way that he says he's saving America. I've seen, I think, 12 new videos today of people being stripped from their families by ICE agents, several of them, dropping their kids off at school. But we have entire sections of the citizenry who are afraid to go to like the hospital when they're sick because they don't know if ICE is going to be there waiting for them to show up. We have people that are afraid to go to work. Here in Brazil, the government will send some bills to regulate social networks. The focus of the law will be on the use of these networks by children and adolescents. Like, social networks are phenomenal. Like, the having social safety nets are a wonderful thing. As opposed to, making sure that nobody can afford health care, making sure that people get into debt slavery so they're forced to work by whatever means they can. It's nice to have the idea that the government would, invest and care about these things. The only time in my life I've ever seen the government actually, like, at least here in America, actually, like, take care of the citizen populace in, like, a meaningful capacity was during COVID. And it was, I think, a radicalizing point for a lot of people because that was the first time that they were able to see, like, oh, this is what it looks like when there's social safety nets. This is what it looks like when, like, the government, or when for a lot of people, it was their first time making what, like, the government believes you need to make in order to live. You know what I mean? Like where are the salmon berries down here? I want more salmon berries. I forgot what I was saying. It probably wasn't important. Sorry, my brain is too smooth for such such complicated talk, such as social safety nets. But the treatment of the poor in this country. Oh, I was talking about COVID. That's right. Yeah, the COVID-19. A lot of people, especially those who work in service industry, whose jobs were affected and who weren't able to go to work, that typically make minimum wage. A lot of them, for the first time, through the unemployment they were receiving, through the stimulus checks that they were receiving, it was the first time they actually were able to, like, bring in the money that the government told them, like, this is the minimum you need to survive right now. And it was more money than anybody had ever gotten. Like, I've worked service industry my whole life, and I was making, I think it was about $900 a week during the pandemic. We had the vaccine for free because we have universal and public health service. They luckily, that was the one good thing that I remember from the Trump administration was Project Warp Speed, in which they rolled out the vaccine, delivered it to people, made it free of charge. That was, I think, the one good thing I remember from the Trump administration. Oh my goodness, an upset doggy. I just realized I was muted still. It's nice that you have universal healthcare in Brazil. That's absolutely incredible. Almost like it should be the standard. I've heard great things about Brazil. I've heard it's very tolerant. I've heard it's, a fun place to be. I'm sure there's problems with it, as every place has its issues, has its faults, but I've heard good things. I've also heard really good things about Spain. More and more people have been talking to me about Spain recently, and it sounds like an incredible place. Not to mention some incredible food. What did you want? Carp. Sure, we'll try to get a carp. We can do that for old Pam. Yeah, I've heard Spain is incredible. I've been to France and I've been to Switzerland, only for like 2 days in Switzerland and for like a week in France, but both were great places. I was shocked at how much more like safe I felt overall compared to in America. Everyone felt like they were nicer people. There felt like there was a more shared class consciousness than I'm used to feeling. And like at least in the growing up in the South, there's always like a very like. Honestly, the South is a very hateful place. Like the idea of Southern hospitality is a nice idea, but unfortunately, it only applies if you're like Christian and white. Other than that, it's just a lot of like they'll be polite to your face because they don't want to cause drama or cause any problems or what have you. But you all, but by the same notion, they'll also talk shit behind your back about they'll be racist towards you behind your back as opposed to your face. It's a different kind of experience. And then of course, being in the South, there's also just the out and about racists that are ever prominent and exist all around us. COVID was absolutely terrible, specifically for what was it? Specifically for the purposes of vaccines. Dealing with anti-vaxxers in the South during COVID-19, working in a museum was absolutely abhorrent. Every single person that came in screamed at me, calling me Nancy Pelosi because I said, hey, in order to visit with our staff, some of whom may be immunocompromised, in order to do that, you have to wear a mask. You only have to wear this mask when you're in the indoor portions of the museum. It's a mostly outdoor living history museum, and you have to wear a mask only while you're inside. And oh my God, these old boomers would look at me with their lead stare and they would scream just, what do you mean I have to wear a mask? You're not going to oppress me. And just make the biggest deal out of it. It's just again, like they love talking about how liberals are the snowflakes, liberals are the ones that are crybabies, and yet every single time I've ever experienced an altercation with, I don't know why I sold all of those, an altercation with a Trumper in this way, it's always been a cry bully situation. They're happy to talk about and happy to get in your face and happy to be loud up until the moment that you actually question them on their logic or question them on their reasoning, and then all of a sudden it's a problem. Then they're unable to continue the conversation. Then they resort to yelling or, having to retreat to their safe space to calm down. Like the Republican cry bully machine has been rampant on like social media for as long as I've ever been on Facebook. Granted, I wasn't allowed to join Facebook until I think I was in high school, but nonetheless. Robin, I have your axe. I'm glad I could help. But yeah, the South is a really hateful place. They love to feign the Southern hospitality. They love to feign the idea that everybody's loved and welcome. Obviously, there's a bunch of bunch of racial problems in the South, but there's a lot more inherent and ingrained racism than people I think are willing to admit to themselves. The idea that, hey, that's the carp I need. You're welcome, Pam. I remember I was in the car with a friend and we were driving down the road one day. And as we're going down the road, we see some people walking on the sidewalk. It was me, my friend, and my friend's grandma, who was a very, very old Southern Baptist woman. And we're driving down the road, and as we're going, we see some people walking on the sidewalk. And my friend's grandmother looks at them, goes, "Ugh, Methodists." I've never heard such disgust in my life from a woman, but oh my God, was she horrified at the idea that people, I don't know, people might need to walk on the sidewalk, that people might need, I don't know, to get somewhere. But yeah, you know, just people trying to enjoy their afternoon peacefully, not harming anyone, walking across the sidewalk, and this lady just looks at them and assigns them a category and scoffs and spits towards them. It was a really telling moment. I got the fish I need. Let's go ahead and go home. I can clean up a little bit on the farm. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're all doing well out there. Even here in... Sorry, I just saw your comments. I was so distracted. Yes, but we have a public health service since the end of the military dictatorship. Before that, we didn't have one. Public health service sounds wonderful. Even here in south of Brazil, we have the largest white population in the country, and we have many cases of racism, fortunately. Oh, yeah, I mean, white people are going to be racist wherever they are. What's up, buddy? Do you want a new cheese? Yeah? Let's get you a new cheese. Yeah, right. White people suck. Yeah, like the again, like the we talk about how these systems are ingrained and how like the systems of white supremacy in the south of like the U.S. where I am are ingrained in us. Unfortunately, these white supremacist teachings are taught to us at every step of the way. Here in America, I don't know if you're familiar with the organization PragerU. Let's. I've been meaning to watch this actually. Let's go ahead and pull it up. I've been meaning to watch this new PragerU teaching. Trump. So there's a organization called PragerU. PragerU. Let's see. Let's. PragerU is a alt-right white supremacist organization that works to strengthen white people, dismantle marginalized people, destroy minority communities as best they can. And through the dictatorship going on right now, they are trying to redesign what education looks like. Specifically, they're worried about all of the woke shit in schools, and they're worried about you know, the teachings of things like slavery. Are they on PBS? They're actually trying to replace PBS with this. They've gotten rid of PBS. They took Elmo into the back parking lot, and they unalived him with many, what is the word, bullets. They took and shot Elmo out back like Old Yeller, and now they are trying to replace PBS with this, PragerU. Again, led by a white supremacist, but PragerU is a terrifying thing, and this is what they're trying to replace what we teach our kids in school with.
Slavery is as old as time and has taken place in every corner of the world, even amongst the people I just left. Being taken as a slave is better than being killed, no? Before you judge, you must ask yourself, what did the culture and society of the time treat as no big deal? Slavery.
That's wild, right? Am I crazy there? Is that absolutely insane? Like the well, the apologetics for slavery. Well, you know, we don't need to. We need to keep in mind, you know, they weren't killed. They were just enslaved. You know, we've all been enslaved once or twice. I mean, we're all slaves to capitalism anyway. What's the difference? Like, absolutely insane. And this is the type of shit that they're trying to teach in school. And this isn't alongside like current teachings of slavery. This is to replace current teachings. This is as they're also trying to dismantle the African American Smithsonian Museum. It's terrifying, I would say. I don't like this stuff anyway. I'm not a fan at all. But we look at, so we were looking yesterday at the way in which Trump deals with I don't want to listen to that. I didn't mean to click on that. We were talking yesterday about the way in which Trump deals with things that he doesn't like, and deals with Mili in Argentina put the cartoon Turtle Twins on public TV. I do know Turtle Twins. I'm sorry, Tuttle Twins. I do know the Tuttle Twins. Let me make sure it's the ones I remember. It's the Twins animated series. Twins. Yeah. I like this review. The first review I see is 1 star. Having braved the first several episodes of Turtle Twins, I'm genuinely astonished by how many missteps this show manages to make at every turn. 1. Underwhelming premise and pacing. What should be a fun buddy comedy turns sibling quest onto two siblings on a quest quickly bogs whatever. Quickly bogs down an interminable filler. Scenes drag on with repetitive dialogue and dead air, as if the writers ran out of ideas halfway through the pilot. Episode 3, I found myself fast forwarding just to stay awake. Wooden performances. This sounds like a really good show. That sounds like a really good one. Yes, we will go to sleep for the night. Ooh, level 3 farming. I can make bee houses now. How exciting. I love bees. We need to save the bees. Bees are being killed everywhere. There was I think 80% destruction rate, or rather like what is the word for bees? Reintegration, I guess, into the beehive. But like 80% of honeybees died this past year due to namely climate change, and that really scares me. My boss used to tell me, "Don't worry, this happens all the time." I don't like the idea of 80% of the bee population dying off. Bees make the world go round. We need them. Our public TV in the past had a partnership with PBS. I watched many of their programs, especially the cartoons. And during Doge, during the big Doge takeover here in the US, when they were talking about all the ways that they were going to be cutting different programs that were wasting money on, like teaching. I think they called it like Trans Sesame Street in the Middle East was what they would call it, as if like us putting out PBS is and using it as a like teaching tool to many people, and like using it as a way of educating masses through like good shows like Sesame Street and whatnot. Like the idea that we cannot send PBS content out to these countries that we have systematically destroyed through like our colonialism and privatization. Like after what we've done to the Middle East, we can afford to send them PBS every year. After the number of people that we bombed in the Middle East, we can make sure that they get their Trans Elmo. I don't think it's too much to ask. But we were talking yesterday about like the patina that comes along with, for example, or rather the lens that Trump has of trying to make sure that everything looks beautiful and opulent and glorious, and everything has to be gold, and it has to be clean. As he talks about the homeless populations that they are clearing out. They're not, doing anything to like help these people. They're taking them to concentration camps far from the communities that they know. And far from the systems that they're already set up. These individuals with mental health issues and going through crises, victims of the systems. Instead of actually Sesame Street had a version in Brazil. Hell yeah! There's an incredible compilation of all the different Big Birds. Let me see if I can find it real quick. All the Big Birds, Sesame Street. Across countries.
Okay, so Big Bird from Sesame Street tweeted this out, saying he's gonna show off his cousins from the other parts of the world. And honestly, I think this is pretty funny. Let's go through his cousin. We got Abelardo, sorry if I get all these names wrong, from Mexico. Wow, look at him.
Oh,
we got
how
Pino. Pino? Yeah, he lives in the Netherlands. Same height as Big Bird. He's blue. We got Minik Kus. I don't know if I said that right. He's from Turkey, but he's not a turkey. Next we got Pupas from Portugal. Look at him. Look at him. Look where he is. Then we got this little bird right here. He's small. It's a little bird. And then finally, this is Garibaldo from Brazil. He
Hey,
looks very
Garibaldo
creepy.
from Brazil. There he is. Garibaldo for you there. Oh, I'm sorry. He's horrifying. I'm is the I imagine the blue is symbolic. Correct me if I'm wrong. Garibaldo. Oh, Garibaldo. How I've missed you. Yeah, like, again, the least that we can do is, like, ship out PBS and Sesame Street to these different countries that we've exploited across the global south and extracted the resources from. We can pay the, what, $2 million a year that it costs to make sure that you get Garibaldo. I feel like that's not too much to ask. And also, not to mention, like, the cultural impact that it has of, like, you know, like the way in which America is known because America provides Sesame Street to the world like this, like through PBS. It's a soft power tool that's absolutely incredible for this country in terms of like good faith across country lines, in terms of teaching others about qualities that I don't want to say that we deem as good, because like America needs to stop putting our qualities out there in that way, but you know what I mean. There's good things that can come from Sesame Street, and stripping it from the masses isn't going to do anything helpful. But we look at where's Pam? Pam, I need to find you. Are you sleeping in because you're drunk? Is that what's going on? But we look at the way in which can I go in? Pam, there you are. Here's your carp. Thank you. The way Trump is cleaning up the streets right now of DC, they're mass arresting people and putting people into prisons, detaining people. I think they have, as latest notice, have arrested over 500 people in DC for God knows what that consists of. Presumably just looking at anybody the wrong way, anybody with a gun and military garb in the wrong way. But the Trump campaign consistently tries to whitewash, tries to pinkwash, tries to make things seem like they're better than they are. Like that's the entire Trump administration, is making things seem like they're better than they are. And through this, like, they don't want to actually help the problem and deal with the homeless crisis. They want to get rid of it. They want to get rid of those people. By the same notion, they are talking about getting rid of the bad sections of the African American Smithsonian that focus on the bad parts of slavery as opposed to the good parts of slavery. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You psychopath. You absolute psychopath. You aren't interested in solving the problems or fixing. Ozzy? They're not interested in solving these problems. They're addressing the inequalities that come from systemic racism, that come from the 400 years of chattel slavery followed by 100 years of segregation or whatever the fuck it was that disenfranchised black people across this country. They just want to get rid of the parts of history that they don't like, that make them look bad. They just want to anything that doesn't fit the cleanly patina, the pretty lens that they need to keep portraying. Whatever doesn't fall in line with that, we can just get rid of. Whether it's the homeless, whether it's immigrants, whether it's poor people, we can just get rid of them. Ozzy? Lay down. I thought he was getting into something. That's my bad, Ozzy. He wasn't getting into anything. Anyway. I'm glad we got to find Garibaldo.
But
Were there any others?
Nice. But this is what I love about Twitter. Someone tweeted out, but what about this cousin?
Oh,
bro. I think that's a duck. Okay, so Big Bird.
That was horrifying. Very akin to the horrifying mall Easter bunnies. Anyway, here's Wonderwall. I need Democrats to do better. I need Democrats to step the fuck up and actually, like, start fighting. This whole Gavin Newsom thing is pissing me off. Gavin Newsom coming around and saying, like, all right, we need to fight in this way. We need to fight and do this thing in response to the Texas redrawing of districts. And to come out now and say, hey, we have the power to not only make sure that we redesign these maps in these ways that we gain a bunch of seats across the Democratic Party, but also we will do this in a way in which we will make sure that Trump loses. And I'm left with the question of, okay, well, if you've been able to do that this whole time, why have you been waiting for them in response? Why have you been holding off on your desire to do this? Like, it sounds like you have a lot of power. Why are we just now hearing about this as an option? And the best that I'm left with as far as an answer is that he's prepping for his run for presidency, and now he needs a big boost in his popularity, especially after he already sold out the trans community earlier this year on a podcast. I need him to stop putting his political career first and actually focus on making sure that we get through this fascistic takeover. Like the fact that you're waiting until the Republicans in Texas are kidnapping people in order to redraw their district maps. You're going to wait until then to put the pen to paper, to put the fight to Donald Trump, like when it's most convenient for you, when you have the most attention on a nationwide scale. Again, as there's a member of a Texas representative who's being kidnapped in the state assembly hall, as Democrats are forced to sign permission slips allowing them to leave, and only under the supervision of an armed guard holding their hand the entire way wherever they're going. It's absolutely incredible the way in which fascism is taking over, and mainstream media is talking about it like it's an everyday thing, like it's just another, tidbit of the happening of the day. Like a representative has been kidnapped and kept in a room. I don't know why they haven't fought their way out, but the idea that we're at the point in which we can wait for the Republicans to make moves so that we can respond with our own threats of drawing district maps. No, you're waiting until it's the time that is most opportune for you so that you can get the most attention nationwide, so that you can draw the most attention. And I've seen so many liberals. Are there many Latinos in my state? Yes, there are. There's a large Latino population. We love our Latino community. We would be lost without them. There's a lot of Latinos in every state. Anybody that works anybody that works customer service can tell you, like, they are the backbone of everything, as I'm sure you know. But yeah, there's a huge Latino population. But the way in which Gavin Newsom is again now willing to say we're going to fight this fight is really upsetting for me. Let's see what they have to say about it.
As the state of California responds to and fights back against the blatant political power grab in Texas with its own redistricting effort, that state's governor, Gavin Newsom, is fighting for a different kind of power in today's political landscape. Attention, Newsom's press office for the past week and a half has been flooding the zone by flooding social media posts with posts that mimic Donald Trump's style and doing what no Democrat has tried for the last 9 years in dealing with Donald Trump, beating Donald Trump at his own game. Since Donald Trump posted a fake Time magazine cover of himself as king, Gavin Newsom's team did the same thing. In one post, Gavin Newsom calls MAGA Republicans, quote, snowflakes in all caps. In another, he says this, quote, Donald is finished. He is no longer hot. First the hands, so tiny, and now me, Gavin C. Newsom, have taken away his step. Many are saying he can't even do the big stairs on Air Force One anymore. Uses the little baby stairs now.
That's pretty funny.
Referring to a picture of Donald Trump.
That is pretty funny. I'll give him credit for that
Putin.
one.
He just wrote, vaxxed, and Newsom has already captured the visual style of the quintessential Trump post. There's the retweet of Gavin Newsom holding an American flag, or maybe the real winner, a portrait of himself surrounded by Kid Rock, Tucker Carlson, and Hulk Hogan. Newsom's social media campaign is clearly getting under the...
So where's this like again, like it's cool that you're doing this, and I'm excited that at least one Democrat has finally figured out how to work social media. But like, what this is a big push all of a sudden, and I'm happy that this is happening, but I need it to be somebody that has a little bit more backbone, I would say, a little bit more consistency in their policies and their care towards people. It's funny. I'll grant them that, and like this is certainly the energy that the party needs, but at what cost? Like, is Gavin Newsom really going to be the person that we put all of our faith into? Like, in as like I don't know of what policies that he's offering that actually will be helpful to people. I've heard him do some grandstanding and talk about ways he's going to, or the things that he wants to do, but again, though, it's not like these are any new things. Like everything that he's doing is just sort of in line with what I've been hearing from Hassan over the past 6 years or whatever about what the Democrats need to do. It's just this. It's just they're finally doing it, and it's good that it's getting liberals excited. But I'm also seeing a lot of liberals saying like this, that Gavin Newsom is now they're going to be their hero, and it's and yet they're unwilling to talk about Zohran Mamdani for more than a minute or share anything about Zohran Mamdani.
The skin of many on the right.
I don't know what he's trying to do, but it comes across as childish. And you're the governor of the biggest state in the union. What are you doing?
This is a sitting governor. Those are Congress people. And it feels like we're watching a summer camp skit. We're watching slam poetry. We're watching these attention seekers that are just so wrapped up in clickbait, and they are supposed to be governing.
Hypocrisy is dying a sad and tragic death right now. Say the anchors from the network that paid $800 million for their lies. Now, if the hypocrisy in all of this isn't clear enough, if it doesn't smack you on the side of the head, here's what podcaster and radio host Charlemagne the God had to say about Fox News' reaction there.
Have you ever told the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America to stop? Have you ever told the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America that they need to be more serious, to act like it's cool when Trump do it, but it's a problem when Gavin does it? Knock it off.
Yeah, it's a good take. I've been talking recently about the way in which Republicans are and conservatives are happy to deny genocide, or happy to not pay attention to genocide and just pretend it's not happening, as millions of people are being killed, or rather the goal is for millions of people to be killed. Oh, it's okay, Lioness. You don't need to apologize for being a victim of capitalism. Would never shame Lioness for needing food. Oh, he's gonna give him food. Zucchini fritters? Zucchini fritters sound delicious. Has a problem for every solution. I don't like capitalism. I like capitalism, but don't like elites. I don't see any benefit to capitalism. It's an exploitative process that requires the extrapolation of labor from the working class in order to enrich the wealthy. I would much rather just have a system in which we take care of everyone. You know, we've got the resources to do so. We only use about 30% of the food that's produced across the world. The rest of it is thrown away in order to make sure that we are able to make sure that we're able to consistently have food at higher prices. Socialism, question mark? I mean, personally, I'm a communist, but socialism's fine. I feel like, you know, socialism is just the predecession to communism, but capitalism only causes harm to people. It benefits a few people. Only causes harm to the masses, though. But yeah, we have enough food to be able to feed everybody in the world. We only use about 30% of our food production. Instead, the rest of it just gets thrown away. Or you have like grocery stores that take their waste, throw it in a dumpster, and pour bleach on it to make sure that it can't be used by communities. You have bro search USSR edit on YouTube. No. As in like a anti-socialism, like here's what the USSR did. USSR. Ooh, Jovan and Arden are debating today. That's exciting. Is this the one? Yeah. Hell yeah. This is how communism works. All right. This is it? This is everything that communism is. This is everything that I wouldn't describe most of this as communism. Not hearts of iron. Cool edit. It is a pretty cool edit. No, the USSR would never be was not an actual, you know, communist state. As to achieve communism, there would be the abolition of a state. The existence of a state in that way proves that it was not communism. But it is a cool edit. It is a cool edit. I like the imagery. It's got a nice beat to it. I love a good beat. Let's go to sleep for the night. Soviet Union, but it's the Galactic Empire. Same beat. I haven't seen this one, though. Lit. Based. Yeah, that's a good image. Ooh, it's raining today. Yeah, I have been looking more and more into the amount of propaganda that we were fed, specifically about the Red Scare, about communists during the Cold War, and Think about the fact that the CIA has documentation that specifically says that there was councils, or rather there was coalitions, and that there was systems to organize, as opposed to it being a dictatorship like the Americans were told. There's a lot of propaganda, if you can believe it, around the USSR. Like the number one talking point I hear when hearing about vote for you. What's your main? If I'm a single issue voter, what's if you're a single issue politician, what's your single issue to get my vote? Is my first question. My vote is something very precious to me. I only sell it for high amounts of money. You have to pay me a lot of money for me to vote. However, if you pay me lots and lots of money, I'll also vote illegally for you. I'll vote more than once. I'll steal other people's identities and vote as them. The DNC is paying me to do it in my free time. $2. In this economy, that goes a long way. It goes further than you think if you're creative, you know? Anyway, I hope you're having a good day today. But you hear about the famines. That's what I was talking about. You hear about the famines that were happening in the USSR. And yet, whenever they talk about those famines, they don't talk about the fact that when... Let me get it. No, I want it. I want it. Fuck off. Transcontinental Railway, I'm on board. You've got me. Give me a high-speed rail. We need a high-speed rail. It's a shame we don't have one. Why do we stop investing? Let's look at the... U.S. versus China railways. All right, so here's our U.S. railway system. You know, really, really extensive, right? Really, really, really good. Holy shit! Holy shit! China's going fucking crazy with this shit. Holy shit. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Look at all those trains. You give me this, you've got my vote. This across the US, I'll vote for you. I don't even need money. Fish, that's what I need to do. I need to go fish today. I need to go fish to catch catfish. I think the two highest uses of steel right now are going to that one like Saudi city that they're building in the desert, as well as the rail line system in China. Like they're going absolutely nutty mode with it. That will create jobs. That's right, it will. The fact that every single job in this country is not like a federal jobs program is absolutely sickening to me. Are slow trains okay? I don't mind slow trains. I prefer high-speed rails just for like speed, but if we as long as it's like, you know, abundant, I don't mind if they're too incredibly slow. But if they're going to be slow, then they have to be free. That is the trade-off. I would prefer them to be free altogether, but if they're going to be slow, then they have to be free. Hit. Let's see if we can get it. But yeah, in Soviet Russia, or rather the USSR, there was a council there was a council leaderships. There was organization happening at a level that they weren't telling the American public. You also had, for example, what is it? You also had capitalists who owned the land of the farms. Now, when the socialists told those capitalists that they had to give up their farms, instead of the capitalists peacefully giving up their farms, instead they destroyed everything that they could on their farms and then salted the grounds so that nothing would ever be able to grow there for generations. The level of destruction that capitalists did to themselves in an effort to hurt the socialists down the road was astronomical. Absolutely groundbreaking. Whee! Here's a fish. You're not bleeding, are you? Drop it. Drop it. Drop it. Let's go. It looks like you're not bleeding yet. Be careful. Be gentle. Oh me, oh my. Ooh, another iridium. I think today might be a little bit of a shorter stream. I want to take some time to put some videos together. And I've been putting it off, so I need to get that done and get started. So I'm probably going to just do 2 hours today. Oopsies. Probably just gonna do 2 hours today, and then I'll hop on a little bit late, or I'll hop on tomorrow again. But I've got some videos I need to edit and put out. But in the meantime, I also get to work on my first actual video essay on YouTube. Specifically, we're going to be talking about how One Piece deals with being trans, and specifically the One Piece community's transphobia that is rampant all over the place. But too much debt already. We've got too much debt. What do I think about H-1B Indians taking jobs? I think that H-1B recipients are kept in that class as a way of exploitation. I think it is a matter of the capital owners using people who at any point they can say that you no longer have a job and therefore you no longer get to live in this country. I think taking that person and saying you're going to work under the conditions that I see fit without any kind of complaint, without any kind of care as to what your standards of work look like. If you're not okay with that, we can deport you at any point. And that's sort of the vibe that I get from H-1B visa, H-1B recipients is they are victims of their bosses. As far as them taking jobs, I believe that they should just have the option to, or pathway to citizenship, so that way we can actually get them into the system in the appropriate way that Republicans think of, like what conservatives think is the ideal system of people entering safely and securely. He is Indian. Bro, I got a friend who got offered $300K as a first job. I mean, sure, that's cool. I mean, I'm sure that there's some people that are able to get well-paying jobs while being an H-1B recipient, but overall, like, having your visa be, or having your allowance into a country as a citizen being based on your job is exploitative by the nature of the job. At any point we can fire you, and if you don't have another job within, a certain amount of time, you get deported. That's a little bit of an issue for me. I would, again, rather them have the opportunity to become citizens, and then he can have his 300K job. I know a lot. I know at least 3 H-1B recipients that do not have 300K jobs a year. I was not too long ago working in. Not too long ago, I was in the park. You want to know a crazy thing? Absolutely. I was working in the park not too long ago, and by working I mean I was giving out cheese samples. I'm a professional cheesemonger. You're Indian? Oh, cool. I'm not. I'm sure you could tell that about everything about me. But I had a person come up to me in the park while I was giving out ICE information about like what to do if ICE approaches you. I was giving out cheese samples, just trying to raise awareness. And I had somebody that came up to me and talked to me for about 40 minutes, I want to say, about how Indians were Indians that came into this country were a huge problem. He talked to me about all of the ways in which they work together to be able to make it in this country, specifically about how they this was an Indian man, I should probably say as well. Oh, thank you for the follow. Let's go. I appreciate it. So I was talking to this man, And he was telling me about how these H-1B visa recipients were a scourge and a way in which these were the bad immigrants that made Indians look bad, and that these were the ones that needed to be removed from the country. And I remember explaining and talking to this person, and throughout all of this, I was trying to find out where exactly this like hatred towards his own people was coming from, where exactly like this line stemmed from. And through this conversation, I eventually got him to realize that it's not simply going to end with the quote-unquote, as he put it, bad immigrants or the bad Indians. They're white supremacists, and they're going to go after everyone. If you're not white, then you're not safe. And like even the white thing is debatable. Like, suddenly Italians won't be considered white under the right conditions. And so like, the idea that H-1B visa recipients are the problem, when in fact H-1B visa recipients again are being exploited en masse by the general in the general situation. Like, this is why you have white supremacist Elon Musk, who's a capitalist, coming out and saying like, yeah, we're okay with the good ones that we can give H-1B visas to, because he wants to maintain H-1B visas because it's a source of exploitation. It's better for him as a business owner. Sometimes people confuse Bangladesh and Pakistani and Afghans for Indian. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the American idea of if you're brown, you're Muslim is so pervasive, especially I'm in the South of America, and so like that's all too common. No, he was specifically I can't remember the town that he was from, but he was Northern Indian, specifically talking shit about one set of Indians from what prefecture was it? Prefectures of India, talking about specifically Indians, I can't remember the name for it, from the western section right here. He was talking mad shit about Indians from this area, calling all of them scum, and saying that they were a scourge that did nothing to benefit society. And it was about that point that I said, okay, I'm Rahastan, thank you. I appreciate it.
Irrevocably in love with him.
I think it was Rahastan that we were talking about. Hey, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. No, I'm pretty sure it was the Rahastan. But again, like the idea that because they are from a poor area, and that this was a guy that was driving a BMW that was again, as he put it, one of the good ones. And he was talking about his fellow Indians that came over here and he was complaining about the fact that Indians would come over here and that they would go into the hotel industry, so that way they would have beds for when their families would come overseas, that they would have a place for them to stay, and how this was disgusting, and how this was breaking the system. Don't have civic sense. I mean, yeah, you're going to find that anywhere. I think, again, this just points back to more of a issue of like class distinction, as opposed to, and like pervasive white supremacy and the accordance with capitalism, and like how those go along, as opposed to like actually having a problem with like another Indian person or another person from India. Like you're going to find racists wherever you are, no matter what country you're in. But the idea that you have a separation of good and bad immigrants and coming from a brown person, it's, I think, important to try to instill like, no, it's not like just good brown versus bad brown in the U.S. right now. They're coming after all brown. Like, eventually, no brown is safe under the eyes of the Conservative Party, and that's what we have to work to dismantle as best we can, anyway. Unfortunately, the Nazis are everywhere. We got a terrifying lineup yesterday. Oopsie daisy. We had a terrifying lineup yesterday of the Powerpuff Girls. It's been many years since Powerpuff Girls was on the air, but we have Stephen Miller, Pete Hegseth, Pete and JD interview. This was really fun. This didn't look like dystopian at all.
We have a few reporters here.
Like, all right, so we've got the Powerpuff Girls all assembled. We've got Stephen Miller off to the side. We've got Pete Hegseth, and we've got JD Vance. I I don't like the plaid suit thing that the conservative bros go for. Like, they want to complain about Obama's tan suit. I thought that was sexy. I thought that was cool. I thought but some people hate Indians for no reason. Oh yeah, absolutely. There's so much hate in the world, unfortunately. It's so pervasive. We got to do everything we can to fight against it. Find love wherever we can. Unfortunately, you're not going to find any love with a face like this. Nothing loving. Nothing. You couldn't find anything to love here. That's a face not even a mother could love. In fact, I'm pretty sure in his biography, he specifically talks about how his mother was abusing drugs specifically so that she would find a way to love his face. I think that's what the point was. But I don't like this plaid suit. It gives dude bro a little bit too much. You know what I mean? Like, his wife is Indian. I think that's crazy. The fact that his wife is Indian and she is willing to go along with like them, like the xenophobia towards Indian that has come out of this administration while having mixed kids. Absolutely crazy. How do you grow up as a kid who, like, your father is like promoting white supremacist values? Dude bro is a great descriptor. Thank you, I appreciate it. Oh, of course derogatory. There's no way dude bro is going to be a positive one. But like this dude bro plaid suit thing, like it's in line with like the Andrew Tate style. Like it gives the same vibes as like the alpha bro tight suit. Let's find an image of it. Yeah, the alpha bro tight suit. Like this. Sorry, that one got me. Like, the way in which they style themselves is quite funny. The no socks in your shoes. That's so stinky. What are you doing, guys? That's stinky. Put socks on. But it feels like him wearing the plaid suit feels like that sort of alpha bro tight suit, but a more like financial bro kind of way. You know, he's not the pill pusher. He's the no socks hurt. Exactly. I don't understand why people don't wear socks. It's uncomfortable. Just wear the no-shows. I mean, I understand being annoyed by the no-shows and having the no-show socks, slip under your foot, or having the no-shows like harass you throughout the day. The number of times I accidentally put on my bad pair of no-show socks on my way into my 12-hour shift at work, and then had to fight my sock the entire shift. Oh my God! Talk about wanting to unalive yourself in a video game. But no, the style that they have is just so gay. Like it's in line with like also the conservatives that now dress like the barista, conservative barista attire. Maybe that'll get me what I'm looking for. But like conservatives now, they're interchangeable. From what was the millennial debates Sam Cedar, I think is gonna give me what I want to see. If you go here and you look at some of the people that you can find on, like, say Jubilee, for example, like that's now a conservative. That's now a conservative, and they're wearing, their cozy sweater. They've got their stylish glasses. They've got the haircut. Like the conservatives are adopting the woke hip fashion, and now they're interchangeable almost from your classic barista style clothing. But it's really gross, the intermingling, the way in which they're adopting a more tolerable fashion sense in a way to seem cooler, I presume is the reason. They want to look nicer. What was I saying about One Piece? Oh, good question. I say lots of things about One Piece. I say so many things about One Piece. It's the best story ever written. It reflects things well. One of the things that I like about One Piece is that, so like when I look at books like Harry Potter, spoiler warning for Harry Potter, it's been out for a while, but spoiler warning. At the end of Harry Potter, after the entire system abuses Harry, after the entire system destroys him, stretched like Monkey D. Luffy, made out of rubber, it makes sense. Stretch it as far as you can. like a rubber band. But you have like Harry Potter, where he's abused by this system, and he sees the way in which the system is broken and sees the way in which it needs to be dismantled. And what does he do at the end of the story? He becomes a cop. He becomes a cop and doesn't do anything, as far as we know, to actually dismantle that system. Hermione goes on to, you know, become a leader in the Ministry and work to actually like end subjugation of house elves and end slavery. Like, she's doing good things, but Harry becomes a cop. Like, the idea that liberal maintenance needs to be achieved as opposed to the overthrow or the end of a institution for the betterment of society is really annoying for me. And you, in One Piece, you have a story that they are willing to say that it's okay for things to be destroyed so long as it means that it's for the betterment of the populace, as long as it means that there's more freedom and more tolerance for the people. Destruction isn't necessarily a bad thing. The ending of these institutions aren't a bad thing. You think it's being stretched? It absolutely is, and I'm all for it. I'm the biggest fan of One Piece. I don't know if you're caught up. It should end this year. I think that there's so much more that needs to be explored. I'll be honest with you. I think it's pretty unrealistic to think that it will. It'll probably go on for at least another 10 years. It'll probably go on for at least another 10 years. I hope it goes on for another 20. But I'm incredibly selfish. I like referring to them as the Powerpuff Girls. It makes me laugh. So you have JD Vance, looking as mean as can be, ready to, with military behind him, ready to tell the country what's what. It's been 26 years, sir. Yes, I need 20 more. I'm gonna be like the Oda, poor Oda. The author is going to be like the old lady at the end of Titanic. It's been 84 years. And I'm going to be, this is where I'm going to be showing my capitalist inclinations as I stand behind Oda and say, yes, and I need more. I need more consumption. Break out some more. But I love this image of military in the background.
So, look, guys, what we wanted to do here was a couple things. First of all, we wanted to say come and say thank you to the National Guard folks, to the cops, for actually keeping this place safe. If you look at what's happened in Washington, D.C. in just the past 9 days, we've seen a 35% reduction in violent crime. We've seen over a 50% reduction in robberies. We are seeing really substantial effects because these guys are busting their ass. So I wanted to come here, highlight what they're doing, say thank you in person, obviously pass out a few burgers, but most of all, just
burgers.
People. Look, we don't have to live like this. We do not have to allow our cities to be taken over by violence and disorder and by chaos. You can actually do stuff. You can actually bring law and order to communities. You've just got to have the political willpower to do it. And I think you hear these guys outside here screaming at us. Of course, these are a bunch of crazy protesters. But I'll tell you, a couple of years ago when I brought my kids here,
they don't care about hate crimes.
Screamed at by violent vagrants, and it was scaring the hell out of my kids. And one of the things that we've done already in Union Station in just 9 days is we've made it a place where people can walk around safely.
So, like, one, there's a clear insistence on focusing on the National Mall, as well as focusing on Union Station, as opposed to focusing on places where crime is actually bad in DC, such as, for example, wards 7 and 8 in DC. I'll probably play a video from one community member a little bit later after we watch this, and as we talk about the crimes that their National Guard, that their police are inflicting upon the populace. But like the way in which he's talking about it doesn't have to be this way is absolutely insane, considering that you were the one that made it this way. You mentioned, what about hate crimes? They don't care about hate crimes. The only crime that they care about is if a hate crime happens towards a National Guard member for being a National Guard, or if a hate crime happens because you're white. That was the entire reason that they brought in the National Guard in the first place, was because this rain sound is getting a little loud in my ear. Let's turn that down a little bit. But you have Big Balls. Was it Big Balls? National Guard sent in for Big Balls. Sent in for Big Balls. No, that's not what I'm looking for. 7 days ago. Called very special. That's not what I'm looking for. Where's Big Balls? Here we go. Politico. Thank you. Assault in D.C. Big Balls was assaulted in D.C. and this was the this was the pretense that they had to send in the National Guard. That was the pretense that they had to send in the troops to the city was because Big Balls had been assaulted. Any excuse that they have to escalate, they're going to take. The reason that they're sending in so many troops into these cities right now is so they have the opportunity for escalation from the public. You know, any moment that a person throws a deli sandwich at a cop, or the moment somebody throws a brick at a National Guard member, or God forbid draws a gun on somebody, that stops them in the streets as they try to detain them and kidnap them, is a moment that we get to put the whole country into military states, into martial law. Zelensky wore a suit this time. I saw that. I did see that Zelensky wore a suit. It was I saw that he saw the reporter that commented on it last time, and saw that reporter and said, "Hey, I wore a suit this time. Go fuck yourself," or something, or something to that metric, which was absolutely incredible to see. Good boy, Azzy, that was a good cheese. Yes, sir. Yeah, I saw that he wore a suit. I also saw that Trump pulled out the red carpet for Putin and did not pull out the red carpet for Zelensky's arrival. It's no red carpet. I only bring this up because it's in direct contrast to Putin being given a red carpet. Trump fears Putin. I don't know if he fears Putin or if he loves Putin. It's probably a little bit of both. You know, I think when we look at Trump and we look at like the narcissism around Trump, I think what Trump wants to be able to do is come out and say, "Yes, I had sex with those children. Yes, I did it." Like the fact that he can't come out and say the crimes that he has done bothers him, and he looks at somebody like Putin who has full control over his country, who can do whatever he wants, who can simply lock away anybody that he doesn't like, and that's something that he cannot do in America. And he envies that. He's jealous of that. I think he loves Putin in the same way that he loves Jeffrey Epstein. You know, he loves Putin because he's able to be out and about and be able to be the dictator that Trump wants to be, in the same way that Jeffrey Epstein was able to be out and about and be able to be a pedophile and like have it known that he was a pedophile amongst powerful people. Imagine if Whitebeard said this. The One Piece is real. I saw a meme. I'm not gonna steal it because I don't deserve it. But I did see a meme that somebody made with Trump on his deathbed, just saying, "You want the Epstein files? You can find them. I've hidden them all in one place at the end of the Grand Line." But like the Trump, the biggest insecurity from my knowledge that Trump has had, aside from his little penis and his little hands, has to do with the fact that he was never accepted as one of the New York elite. He was never brought in as one of their as one of their comrades. He was never allowed into their inner circles because at the end of the day, he was always seen as crude and butch and nasty and all these different things. And so there was a big annoyance as well as resentment towards that class of people from Trump, towards that established higher class, towards, you know, like the Broadway crowd. Trump is so gay, he loves Broadway. But the way in which he feels about Jeffrey Epstein, I think, solidifies this. Like, I think he's got a huge crush on Jeffrey Epstein because Jeffrey Epstein was able to, through blackmail, force his way into these inner circles, into the upper echelon of society, and make it so that he was able to be seen with whoever he wanted to. He had dirt on everybody in the world, so he could get into whatever room he wanted without necessarily the same stigma that people would throw towards Donald Trump because he's got dirt on you. Hello, Czech. Welcome back, Czech. It's good to see you again. Hope your day's going well. Hope everything's treating you well. We're looking at we were just talking about Zelensky wearing a suit to the Oval Office this time, and then looking at your day's going all right. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. He wore a suit to the office this time, and when he saw the reporter that last time called him out on it, he said, "I believe, oh yes, I'm wearing a new suit this time. I believe you're still wearing the same one." Really putting egg on his face. Wore a suit because his final peace talk. Well, he also, the suit that he wore, it was a nice suit. It was much more like military adjacent than a lot of the suits that you typically see. It was much more like formal military garb, and I think the coming to the what's appearing to be the final peace talk probably definitely had something to do with it. Haven't watched the entire Putin Zelensky, only saw the overviews and some clips. One of my favorite things about the Trump Zelensky was Trump talking about how he was going to get his way into heaven. I don't know if you've seen that. It's just a minute, so I might pull it up again. But Trump, I think, knows that he's in his, I think he knows that he's in his end days at this point. Where is it? YouTube. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Trump goes to heaven. Ooh, let me type. I want to watch it again. All Trumps go to heaven. I remember that movie growing up.
7,000 people a week from being killed. I think that's a pretty... I want to try and get to heaven if possible. I'm hearing I'm not doing well.
Donald Trump is revealing what he claims is his...
I hear I'm not doing well. This is after his ankle grew three sizes that day. I want to try to get in heaven if possible. If possible, sure, yeah, absolutely. But again, like this like end of the line, sudden realization, like, oh, I might not get into heaven. Oh, I need to change what I'm doing. Oh, I need to make sure I end this war so that my karmic good is scaling in the way that I want it to be. It's just. It's hearing him say like I'm not doing well. What does he know that we don't know? I've been saying for years that I need to make it at least until Trump dies. So I don't know what I'm gonna do after Trump dies. I guess I move on to I guess we move on to saying we're staying alive for One Piece for the end of One Piece. But so he knows what he's doing is wrong. Oh, absolutely. Like I think, and we talked about this with Epstein, or rather, I've just mentioned Trump liking Epstein because Epstein is able to force his way into places through blackmail that Trump isn't necessarily able to force his way into because Trump is seen as crude, seen as gross. And so, like, you look at Trump's relationship to Epstein and what he finds appealing about him. Then where was I going with this? I'm repeating what he said. Gotcha. But you look at how he looks at Epstein and the way that he likes Epstein. It's I think consistent with the idea that he views himself as a god king. Like I think he has a realization that what he's doing is wrong, but he doesn't. He sees it as either one being a part of a greater good. Or you see it as a part of, well, you know, I've done good in other areas, so it'll make up for it. By the way, this isn't my main account. I lost my main a few days ago. Oh, no, so sad you lost your main. Hate it when that happens. By heaven, he just means Epstein Islands. Truly. Truly, he just means the Epstein Islands. Isn't that right, Oswald? Can you shit talk? Can you shit talk? Good shit talk. Good boy. We'll get you a treat. So we look at these people that have power. We look at the things that they're insecure about, and a lot of the times their insecurity comes back to sexual frustrations, comes back to a lack of self or a feeling of a lack of power. Like the I'll accept going to hell if God exists, but I just want Trump and Epstein with me, as long as I can wave to them from my padded cell in hell. Go get it! I threw it. Go find it. Go find it. Ozzy, go find it. Yeah, I'll be able to wave from across my from my cell from a distance and say, hey there guys, hey there boyfriends. I hope you're enjoying sucking each other's cocks or whatever it is pedophiles do when they're on an island together. I do like the idea that his heaven is just Epstein Island. That probably is true. I mean, it's made out of gold. Hasbin Hotel all again. It's this idea that gold makes things pretty. I remember John Mulaney having a bit about like Trump being like what he would see, like a homeless person suddenly being like an evil, having the power to do what an evil dictator thinks like you should do if rich. It's like, I'm gonna plaster a building in gold. I'm gonna cover it in gold from head to toe. Everyone will worship me. All right. We're gonna go lay down, okay, bud? Yeah, you ready to lay down? It's nap time. Nap time. Oh boy, good place. So, guess what I do? What'll I do? Vote against the Muslim and vote for the Christian. I mean, that's what they would have you do in New York. That's what they would have you do in New York. They do not want you to. They do not want you to be voting for Zohran Mamdani. They want you voting for Andrew Cuomo. Starting from the 2028 Egyptian elections, you can vote online. That's. I don't like that. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. That sounds. I don't like the idea of voting online. You know, we were looking at, or I was looking at anyway, earlier Trump's True Social post about getting rid of mail-in ballots and getting rid of specifically voting machines. You know, I'm pretty boomer in my. We're voting for Beast. He wants to introduce slow and expensive rails all across the country. But we have here him talking about wanting to get rid of voting machines. I'm a boomer in my relationship to technology. I'm really scared of the robots. I fully believe at some point they're going to be taking over. And I don't like them thinking things. I don't like them having their own thoughts. With that, the idea of voting online sounds so much more scary than voting at an actual machine that you have at your voting station. I looked at the website they built. They want my Egyptian social and passport, so fair enough. I can still get them from the embassy and vote. Voting online can be abused. Yeah, I'm also just wary about like putting any like official government documents uploaded. Like it's one thing to like I don't know if it's uploading but it's one thing to like type in your social security onto a website, but it's a different thing to like scan your ID for. Don't live there anymore. Fair enough. Like it's another, like YouTube right now, demanding that people have AI verify their age by showing their face and opening their mouth for AI to record them and like verify. And if you don't have AI deems that you are not of age to be on YouTube, then you have to prove it through government documents. That's horrifying. Yeah, you couldn't verify for YouTube. I think I remember us talking about that the other day. And so like. This idea of getting rid of voting machines, getting rid of mail-in voting, is just it's just the continuation of the conservative metric. 11 p.m. here. Have a good night. Have a good night. Be safe. Get some good sleep. Get some good rest. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. See you later. But the idea that it's just the continuation of the conservative plan to get rid of as much election as they can. They don't want to have elections. We know this. Trump jokes about it every day about now. We hear it from him on a weekly basis, whether it be talking about how Zelensky at war means that there's not going to be any more elections in Ukraine and saying that's good, or whether it be him joking about a third term in his first like week, I think it was, in office. They'll be strongly opposed by the Democrats because they cheat at levels. The classic projection, of accusing those of doing the things that you are doing, Like, you want to say that the Democrats are cheating at the elections at every level never before seen, while you are, of course, the biggest cheat when it comes to an election this country's ever seen, between the Russian hacks, between the issues that came about with the January, the issues, between the insurrection attempt. If a war breaks out, yeah, I heard Trump kidding about if a war starts in 2028, he'll still be able to be president or some sort of. Exactly. Yeah, but he was saying that with in his meeting with Zelensky, specifically saying, "Oh, well, if you guys are at war, then you don't have to hold elections. That's good. That's good to hear." And then the next day, we send several warships to the coast of Venezuela. Isn't that a cool thing? We send several warships and 4,000 Marines to the coast of Venezuela, which provoked Maduro to activate 4.5 million militiamen across the entire country. But what is the he's saying that to piss people off, but at the same time, I don't think it's a joke. Well, I think one is to piss people off. Obviously, the Democrats are going to get going to get upset about it. I'm upset about it, but it's also, I think, a matter of trying to normalize it. Like, the more that you say these things, and the more people on his side, just tell everyone, "Oh, he's just joking." Like, that's been the process this entire time of, "Oh, well, he says some shit. He's just joking. He doesn't actually mean it." And then 3 months later, he actually meant it the entire time, they realize. But then it doesn't matter, because it never mattered in the first place to the conservatives. But, like, again, like, the opportunity to normalize this conversation and this talking point, it's a joke 3 months later. Exactly. Exactly. It's a joke until all of a sudden it's exactly what's happening, and it's been what the plan was the entire time. Also, if you have a problem with it, you're un-American. Also, if you have a problem with it, you're a terrorist. This is actually, I don't know if you've heard, the popular mandate of the people. I wonder what the conversation would have been if, when Biden was president, he did whatever he wanted without any regard to the Republican or Conservative Party, with the pretense of, well, I have the popular mandate. I have the mandate of the people. I won the popular vote. What do you mean? I get to do whatever the fuck I want now, just like you do. Like, the way in which they are destroying the powers that exist right now makes me wonder if the plan is to never have elections again. Makes me wonder if the plan is to make sure that there are elections that they are able to make sure that they are able to coerce in their benefit. I had to change my second name because I kept looking at everywhere since it's too oh, that's heartbreaking. That's absolutely disgusting. The xenophobia, the Islamophobia in this country is so rampant. Like, and again, it's a part of the normalization. The normalization that immigrants are dangerous. As we talk about immigrants eating cats and dogs in apartment complexes. Nobody can even say it. Yeah, I can imagine. The idea. Like, I remember being taught when I first got started as a manager at a company about, like, what it means to hire fairly, what it means to look at things, what it means to look at people across the board evenly, and the number of bosses that, exactly like you said here, would see your name, say, "I don't know how to pronounce that, so I'm not even going to move on with the hiring process," is absolutely disgusting. It's a Muslim name, so I'm not Muslim, so whenever I get drinks, it's weird. Gotcha. You have to suddenly explain why you look the way you look and justify the your lineage. Ozzy hates that for you. Ozzy's upset about it. Yeah, I mean, like, the normalization of, like, immigrants being dangerous starts with the they're eating cats and dogs in the apartment complex. Then it moves on to what was it the other day? We have sleeper cell Iranian agents. They're eating the dog. I used to say it's not your problem, man. I think it's all of our problems, unfortunately. While I do not experience victimhood, obviously, of Islamophobia and of racism to the same extent as a white guy, at the same time, I think we're all victims of the systemic racist systems. But I get where you're coming from, especially, it's easier to say it's not your problem, man. Islamophobia has definitely decreased since I came here. I don't know what year you came here exactly, but especially after, like, 9/11, the Islamophobia was absolutely insane. I hadn't heard that sleeper agent argument since 9/11, when after the Iranian attacks or the attacks from Iran, and they started talking about Iranian sleeper agents across the country. I hadn't heard that since 9/11, and I remembered hearing that about the coverage of 9/11, about terrorists amongst us, have to fear your neighbor. I'm glad to hear that it's decreased. Generally speaking, I think tolerance is going in the. Thank quantum physics, I'm atheist. Thanks, physics, we appreciate it. Like I think the most tolerances have increased, but by the same notion, those that would be against those tolerances have also gotten a lot louder. There's not necessarily a ton more of them to the same extent, but through the internet, as well as through like the internet machine of like every single interaction just about is meant to induce rage, is meant to make you angry, because if you're angry, that's the way that you're most likely to interact with a post. So everything on the internet is rage bait, and racism is a wonderful way to go about that as far as getting attention online, especially with the what's going on X, and the way X has laxed their standards for care when it comes to the treatment of others. Like the fact that you can Oswald, quiet down. The fact that you can pay money for your blue check mark now just allows people to get that verification and go on to do whatever they want with it. And half the accounts that are on X now are bot accounts that simply exist just to spread misinformation, hate, racist commentary as often as they can. 9/11 was an inside job. Show me where jet fuel melts steel beams. You know what I mean? Show me where. I can see I like to pretend that I'm good at pattern recognition, but I can see the train in which us being attacked would allow us to go into a country and extract them of their natural resources. I can see that happening. I can see the American machine working towards that. It sounds like something. What was that? What's that soundbite? If you ever think America would not do this thing, don't worry, they would. If you ever think the government wouldn't do this, they would. Yeah. So voting's over in this country. We don't need to worry about votes anymore. It's just going to be faked anyway. They're going to switch to paper because apparently that's the most secure. Hiking back to any like coming of age prom teen movie, and it's just going to be Trump and Stephen Miller stuffing the box with as many ballots as possible. I love my second home country. Iraq has been invaded a week before, and 9 billion USD in stocks were gone before it by a day. Yeah, again, systems are pretty clear if you know what to look for. Like, same thing with the stock market manipulation, right? When Trump got into office talking about all the tariffs and the upping and going down of and the way in which people lost their retirements. But good thing like 7 billionaires made $14 billion more in a day. We're gonna go down, gotcha. Yeah, it's all very sad. It's all very stressful. But on the bright side, we have friends along the way. We have people around us that can keep us sane. Hopefully we do. I do anyway. Hopefully, if I was raised to hate Americans at least at most. I mean, I think that's fair. I can understand why. Especially with the idea of, it's easy to look across the other side, but if like there's a country that is being bombed by another country, and the people that are in that country are able to live in bliss and live in indifference and privilege, and not have to pay attention to any of that, and be able to go to Applebee's instead, and get their jalapeno poppers or mozzarella sticks, as long as they're able to maintain that, then it's okay. We don't have to worry about these things in America. And that sort of like American privilege, I think, is where a lot of the annoyance towards Americans come from. America being so far, especially as well from Europe, being so away from that part as well, doesn't do it any services. I'm now my own enemy. What have I? Dun-dun, 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 dun-dun. I probably don't have the copyright to that song. Yeah, I look at the way that we were raised in America and the things that I was taught in America, like the whitewashing of like incidents like the Trail of Tears, the entire ethnic cleansing of a populace, and not being told like the true numbers of the number of natives that were killed by the actions of colonists, and the pink washing through the lens of education. And just sitting there and, as a second grader thinking, all right, well, I learned about the Trail of Tears now. I guess I've covered that topic, and it wasn't until I grew up and learned more about the ongoings that I realized how little I actually knew about things like the Trail of Tears and the systems that took place in order to disenfranchise and marginalize those people. The fact that, war and battles amongst the indigenous looked very different pre and post colonialization. Like pre-colonialization, there was a lot more care that went into the combat. There was a lot more respect towards your enemies when it came to the combat. This is at least based off of native oral tradition and stories, as opposed to like the Christopher Columbus propaganda. But you have after colonial times, after the colonists had moved in, that's when you see a change in the tactics that are being used. That's when you see a change in the ways that the indigenous fought against the colonists. And then, because they're defending themselves, they're the savages. The Smurfs was my first piece of non-Egyptian media. There are worse pieces of media to find before the Smurfs. We were talking earlier today about the different Sesame Streets. What was there? We were looking at the different Big Birds. Where'd the Big Bird video go? We were looking at Brazilian Big Bird. Was there a Egyptian Big Bird that you remember? Big Bird across the countries.
Okay, so Big Bird from Sesame Street tweeted this out, saying he's going to show off his cousins from the other parts of the world.
Was there an Egyptian Big
honestly,
Bird?
I think this is pretty funny. Let's go through his cousin. We got Abelardo. Sorry if I get all these names wrong. From Mexico. Wow.
Abelardo.
We got Pino. Pino? Yeah, he lives in the Netherlands. Oops. Same height as Big Bird. He's blue. We got Minik Kus. I don't know if I said that right. He's from Turkey. But he's not a turkey. Next we got Pupas from Portugal. Look at him. Look at him. Look where he is. Then we got this little bird right here. He's small. It's a little bird. And then finally, this is Garibaldo.
Garibaldo.
He looks very creepy.
That's who we were talking about earlier, Garibaldo. I hope there was an Egyptian Big Bird. We need more Big Birds out there. The more the merrier, Oh, wait, no, I want to keep those. I had to study U.S. history and law. Constitution was my citizenship test. I had to get 10 answers and get 6 right out of them. Had to be fluent in English with certified degree. If you have one like mine or do an English test, and it was 4 hours. Went smooth. Went to USCIS office. A week later, got naturalization certificate and pledged allegiance. Took an oath. Hey, hell yeah! And that, if I remember correctly, you said took around 11 years in order to make happen. An 11-year process. I could be mistaken on that part, but I remember when I got my first car, my first car that I bought. The first car that I ever bought with my own money was a 2013, I think, Hyundai Accent. And when I bought this car, I turned on the CD player. And I turned on the CD player and turned up the volume, and there just so happened to be a CD already in the car upon my buying it. And so I started listening, and I was surprised to find out that it was actually a U.S. citizenship test CD. So it went through all of the questions that they would typically ask on a U.S. citizenship test. It was like 55 questions going through the different parts of government, different pieces of government. But I remember I listened to that all the time, actually. I thought it was so funny for some reason. I thought that the car came with that. And so I would listen to that tape all the time. Yeah, the going-ons right now in America is quite harmful, as you have, unfortunately, like, for example, truck drivers. Truck drivers are being victimized specifically to, like, stop and frisk conditions at every point of every day just about now. But if you are brown, then you are likely to be stopped as a truck driver. You are likely to be removed from your vehicle and subjected to a literacy test. You have to now prove that you are able to read and write and speak in English in order to continue driving motorized trucks. Even if you have the license required, even if you have the certificates required associated with whatever vehicle you are driving, you are still you still have people that are being detained, despite the fact that they are, you know, able to speak English, that they're able to drive trucks with no problems through the country. But because they're brown, you know, now they have the right to be stopped and frisked, despite the fact that they're legal citizens. But, you know, part of the U.S. test of, like, you have to be fluent in English to be a part of it is absolutely ridiculous. And only the truth, and I definitely say did. I didn't. I've been out to visit the Middle East since I got my green card. Fuck the rules. Who cares about what they say? Borders are dumb to begin with. But I used to listen to a U.S. citizenship test CD, like the prep CD. I got it in my first car that I bought and listened to it all the time. It had like 55 questions it would go through. You know, all the classics. How many seats are in the House? How many seats are in the Senate? How many representatives of the Senate from each state? Who's the president right now? All those questions. But the idea of, like, having to speak English in order to be in this country is absolutely disgusting. 100 questions, yeah. I've heard. I remember I was talking to somebody at one point, and they were given a entire book that went over around. I think it was probably like worth about like 250 potential questions, which sounds like absolutely ridiculous to me. Like the idea that you can be barred based off your knowledge of a country. Like, what does my knowledge of a country have to do with me being able to visit that country or go to that country? Like, that has nothing to do with the actual merits of a person. I would argue oftentimes it just further falls in line with providing access to those who have education and capital as opposed to those who do not. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to have the standard of you have to speak English, well, if you come from a country where you aren't typically taught English at a young age, then I guess you're just fucked. Like, I mean, luckily, I think most other countries in the world teach people English because, you know, America is everywhere and all-encompassing, and the empire needs to be stopped. But you don't see that same thing from Americans. You don't see Americans. I was so scared coming to the interview. Oh, I can for sure believe that. I remember how nervous I was taking the SATs, and that was just for, you know, like my test score to get into college. That wasn't, you know, that didn't determine where I was going to be living for the next section of my life. Oh, we got a hit. We got a hit. Yeah, the standards are disgusting. Again, like, the same standards aren't applied to Americans. Like, Americans aren't expected to really learn other languages to the same extent other countries are. Like, my broken Spanish, my little tiny piece of French I can speak is far better than a lot of people in this country. I do have a friend that's on day, I think, 4,000. He's on his, like, 4,000th day streak of Duolingo. Me personally, as a first-generation American, some English knowledge to live a English-speaking country. I mean, yeah, I mean, I totally understand. Like, you got to be able to, like, get around, surely. Like, in order to like talk to people, especially because 750-day streak. Hell yeah, let's go. Duolingo, who I heard might be replacing all of their language people with actual AI, unfortunately. So let's hope that that doesn't happen. But the way in which I already know English, but I'm just using it for fun. Oh, hell yeah. I mean, better practice. Like we mentioned, I think yesterday, if you don't use it, you lose it. The more practice, the merrier. But the way Americans deal with language, it's seen as a extra thing. You know, if you are American and you want to go live in France, you don't have to worry about the same things as if you are French coming to America, because most people in France, at least based on my experience there, spoke English. I did my best to speak French to them because I was practicing while I was there. I wanted to talk in their language as much as I could, but most people that I talked to spoke English. What I was far more impressed by was also, not only did most people know French and English, but most people also had at least partial of a third language. So anybody that I wasn't able to speak in English or French with, I was able to communicate via Spanish with them, which was a really, really fun thing, a really fun practice. The U.S. is one of the hardest countries to immigrate to, which is so funny considering like so much of the U.S. identity is based in the idea that it's, you know, the dream to come to America. You know, you go past the gates at Ellis Island, and you're given the new opportunity for the American dream to, if you work hard, then you can be, and it's just a crock of bullshit. Oh, sure. I mean, yeah, there's going to be places that are more difficult, but also in terms of like what social safety nets are here for you to make sure that you're set up for success when you get here. Oh, sure. I mean, you can find it worth it. You can find situations, you know, you can be comfortable. You can build yourself a good life in this country. Oh, sure. But the idea that, like, you know, you are able to immigrate to a country like the U.S., okay, great. Nobody there speaks the language that you do. Let's hope that you had access to the education you needed when you were a child to get like the English-speaking classes that would allow you to emigrate over here, and things along like that line. I think are gross barriers to entry. And then once you get over here, again, you don't have like systems that support you. Exposure to English media, I'm sure, is very helpful. One thing that I did when I was repracticing Spanish was watching a show, The Witcher. I watched The Witcher specifically in Spanish. I found that very beneficial to helping me learn, just hearing the language talked. And I'm sure that's where also like the American culture media machine is really beneficial to like learning English outside of the country, being able to just put on programming that's in English and having it readily available. The Witcher, yeah. Good show for the first like 2 seasons, I would say. I didn't like anything past that. Really good game. Oh, hell yeah, Gravity Falls. Love Gravity Falls. Are you a fan of one of my favorite shows, same sort of category, Over the Garden Wall? Are you familiar? That's a really good watch I always recommend to people. Incredible anime. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody I know that's watched Over the Garden Walls that I bring up Over the Garden Walls to has the same reaction of, oh, I fucking love that show. It's so good. It's so incredible. Absolutely amazing show. The art style is incredible, an all-star cast through and through. You got Tim Curry, Elijah Wood. I was just talking to my brother the other day about possibly being Greg and Wirt for Halloween this year. We'll see what that ends up being, because I'm the older brother. He wants me to be Wirt, and I don't want to be Wirt. Hell yeah, go for it. I want to be the elephant. I want to be the elephant. You're too tall. Yeah. Well, I think he's taller than I am now. He's my little brother. I think he's taller than I am, which, talk about some bullshit. Make me feel bad. Over the Garden Wall is so good, though. It's such a good show. The Middle Child. I was always interested in being a middle child. I think the psychology of middle... Oh, couldn't see. I think the psychology behind middle children are quite interesting. Quite fascinating. We have 3 on my side of the family. Isn't fun? That's my understanding. You know, the oldest gets most of the attention because they're older and they're, you know, causing problems or whatever. The youngest is causing problems because they're a baby or whatever, and you're just sort of in the middle, just from my understanding, oftentimes feeling a little bit left behind. Yeah, ignored. Yeah, that's my understanding of being a middle child, for the most part. I am the oldest, so I always felt bad for my siblings because when they needed you, yeah, that sounds about right. I always was the oldest child, so I always felt bad for my sister as she was growing up. I was going through my rebellious high school angsty years, and so a lot of my parents' drama was dealing with me or dealing with my brother, who was a baby at the time, because they're like 10 and 12 years younger than me. And so when I was growing up, a lot of my time was spent helping out and taking care of them, and spending time helping raise them and babysitting and whatnot. And then as I got older, I felt bad as I took time away from them during their development because I was being a shitty teenager. Babysitting your little brother. The having a kid to using that kid as a laborer pipeline is so impressive. It's so incredible. I mean, that's why, people used to have so many kids. Not only do you have to worry about 15 of them dying due to malnourishment, as well as, exposure to whatever elements they have to deal with, but you also need the other 12 that you have to do the actual maintenance of your farm. Have I ever played Slime Rancher? I have not played Slime Rancher. Slime Rancher. Oh, that looks cute. That looks adorable. Oh, are those all the different slimes? There's just more to love. Oh my god, there's so many slimes. Stardew Valley for slimes. Oh man, you get new lands, food, pets, and slimes. See, this is dangerous. The feral slimes. Oh, this is a chart that I could look at for so long. Why would you show me this? My ADHD. I can No, see, this is dangerous. I can hyperfixate. I've got to be careful. I'll come back to that, but I've got to be careful for right now. I'm gonna hyperfixate. I'm gonna have to memorize the entire chart. I'm gonna have to learn how to breed each specific one. I'm not gonna have time for cheese. I love a good hyperfixation game. One of my fresh cauliflower. Sure, Jody, I can do that. Are these ready? These are ready. I'm gonna be trying Stardew Valley tomorrow if I have time. I love it. I highly recommend it. I'll be trying Slime Rancher at some point soon. I'll probably try it over the weekend, honestly. I was just looking last night about new games, and I've been trying to find an RPG that I want to play, but I'm struggling with it. I don't want to get into I don't want to get into Baldur's Gate. I started a new Baldur's Gate campaign last night, but I don't want to play it in my general time. What do you do for work, by the way? I'm an independent contractor. Awesome. That sounds sick. I love being independent, having your own say, having your own options. I am a cheesemonger by trade. I work with cheese professionally. You can find my website at cheeseweeb.com. But it's I make cheese boards. I teach cheese classes. I teach people about cheese. I eat cheese just about every day. It's a fun job. I've had a lot of jobs, everything from working as a carpenter to working as a where is Jody? Jody lives over here. To working as a bowling alley manager to being events coordinator, but the cheese life has been very fun, has been very rewarding for me. It's a lovely time. You get to eat cheese all day. If you're ever having a bad day, you get to eat cheese. My favorite cheese in the world is called Hallerhocker. It comes from Switzerland. But I just moved recently, and part of my move is that I'm trying to spend a little bit of time investing in starting my own company and business, specifically trying to use every opportunity that I can to in my community do mutual aid, teach people about cheese, offer cheese classes, as well as every other week on Twitch I'll be offering cheese classes that I'll later post to YouTube. So a lot of fun plans going on right now. But overall, it's mainly just trying to help people, make sure that people are taken care of. I just moved to a town that has some policies that I'm not too happy with, like their current treatment of homeless people, the way they treat poor people. So I really just want to try to focus on the community around me, help as many people as I can, keep as many people safe. Like right now, they're talking about rounding up the homeless in my town, and it's absolutely sickening. Is that JD Vance? I'm gonna slime myself if I see that bastard one more time. It is JD Vance. I pulled up this video to watch. I don't know if I'm actually gonna watch it today or not, but I pulled up this video to watch of the Powerpuff Girls assembling. We have Stephen Miller, Pete Hegseth, and JD Vance all together here. The Holy Trinity of Evil. Going through the process of explaining why what's happening in DC. It's a joke. Don't deport me. Don't worry. I'll protect you. I'll make sure it doesn't happen. They're not getting past my. They're not getting past my liberal patina. They've got to force their way through. Yeah, this is another case where being white and being born here is beneficial, in which I can come onto this app and talk about these people in this way without having to necessarily fear the same things as other people have to fear. But yeah, you've got these little cocksuckers all hanging out together. Specifically, like, this is the most dystopian video I think I've ever seen come out of this country. Like, look. Hang on, we're gonna start this for a second.
We have a few reporters here. So, look, guys, what we want to do here was a couple things. First of all, we want to come and say thank you to the National Guards folks, to the cops for actually keeping this place safe. If you look at what's happened in Washington, D.C. in just the past 9 days, we've seen a 35% reduction in violent crime. We've seen over a 50% reduction in robberies. We are seeing really substantial effects because these guys are busting their ass. So I want to come here, highlight what they're doing, say thank you in person, obviously pass out a few burgers, but most of all, just send a message to people. Look, we don't have to live like this. We do not have to allow our cities to be taken over by violence and disorder and by chaos. You can actually do stuff.
Again, I mentioned this earlier, but the idea that it's other people that are forcing them to do this as opposed to, homeless people just existing, and then the government saying we've got to stop that. I can't really get deported unless Trump starts to change the Constitution. I'm basically an American, just can't run for president and do anything that anyone else can. That's lovely. I mean, that's good. That's wonderful. Ideally, that would be the case for anybody who wants to be an American. That sounds sick anyway. I think it sounds cool. Yeah, unfortunately, I see them changing the Constitution at some point to change who is and isn't allowed. Like, big streamer, I'm sure you've heard of him, but like Hassan, for example, he's as far as I know, a first generation immigrant from Turkey. But like, he's sort of one of those figures that are probably one of the first that they're going to be going after in this effort to control the media and their effort to change what is and isn't allowable towards certain people. Osama bin Laden, I can't get my citizenship withdrawn and be kidnapped to Yemen. Hopefully not. Hopefully, I mean, I think their goal is to be able to make it so that anybody can be at some point, but that was a very specific. You kind of look like Jeffrey Dahmer. Thank you. I think that's the best compliment I've gotten today. I like eating people. That show was so. I didn't watch all of it. I only ended up watching. That's Emily's room. I only ended up watching like one episode of that show after I found out that the families around it were upset about the fact that it was made into a show. I don't mind looking like Evan Peters. Evan Peters is a cutie. Yay! When I was a kid, people used to tell me I looked like Matt Damon. I like eating people too. Such a small world. It's nice when we can all come together and find community. That's what people don't know. Kick is the platform for if you're a pedophile or what have you. But Twitch, that's where you can find the cannibals. That's where the cannibals hang out on Twitch. Yo, did you see somebody on Kick died? Somebody on Kick passed away. Like a streamer, I think they were on stream, passed away, and there was somebody who like had mental problems that was brought into like a streaming house, and they proceeded to abuse him every day over the course of like 7 months, to the point this person like wrote to people saying like, I didn't feel like I could leave, I didn't feel like it was safe for me to leave, I was forced to do these things. Oh, it's heartbreaking. Kick needs to be reined in. The platform in which we have no rules, no control, it turns out is not a good idea. Let's end that. Let's put some regulations up around that, please. But yeah, again, this idea that it's the fault of the people of DC that they've decided to go in and tear the city apart. You know, we don't want to do this. We don't want to have to do this, but you're forcing us to do this by, you know, being homeless and existing here, by, you know, not being happy with the fact that we're rounding people up. These are problems that you need to be okay with, and the Powerpuff Girls are here to tell you exactly how that can happen.
You can actually bring law and order to communities. You've just got to have the political willpower to do it. And I think you hear these guys outside here screaming at us. Of course, these are a bunch of crazy protesters. But I'll tell you, a couple of years ago when I brought my kids here, they were being screamed at by violent vagrants. And it was scaring the hell out of my kids.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. Oh, that's bad. That's sad news. Bacterial you know, I don't really care a lot of the time when I might later. I don't really care a lot of the time when celebrities pass and when, like, you know, things like that happen, like when we lose figureheads. But this one hurts. That's really sad. Oh, man. As long as that what's that family? Black guy invited for Thanksgiving. As long as that family is still going strong, I guess I'll be okay for now. Oh, he died. No. Oh, no. That's not what I wanted to learn. When was this? Was that 20? Oh, man. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do this. Let's get away from this. Oh, look at the slimes. Look at the happy chart of all these different slimes. All of these little buddies. I like this one down here quite a bit. This one's really cute. Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, it's only a matter of time. It comes for us all eventually. Well, just disassociate. You know, just turn it off. Like a light switch, just go click. I probably can't sing that on stream. These guys are gross.
And one of the things that we've done already in Union
Oh yeah, he's talking about the crazy people yelling outside, the people that are protesting the military state that DC has turned into, is absolutely hilarious. That he's saying that they are the problem. It's not the aggressors that are the problem. It's not the three white guys that have an army behind them as a show of intimidation and force. Of here's what we have to fight you with. Here's what we're ready for.
in just 9 days is we've made it a place where people can walk around safely. They can bring their kids again. They can see this beautiful monument, the architecture. They can have a meal with their friends and their loved ones because again, we brought some law and order back to Washington.
Hang on, let's see if we can't let's do something. Let's do a nice little fun video here. This will be nice for me to post later, I think. Put you there. We'll put you there. Next time I'm going to be using my Egyptian passport when I re-enter the U.S. and have the JD Vance meme on my phone. See what happens. No. I want you to be able to come back. I want you to be able to come back into the country. What was it? Clearing out park, DC, homeless. Where was that stream we watched the other day? Where did that stream go? Stream. Bow, wow, bow. La-di-da-di-da. Here's the crime that they're talking about.
To their loved ones because again, we brought some law and order back to Washington, D.C. So I want to thank Pete Hegseth and Stephen Miller. I want to thank all the people, the guardsmen here. One of the things that we've done years ago to communities, you've just got to have the political willpower to do it. And I think you hear these guys outside here screaming at us. Of course, these are a bunch of crazy protesters. But I'll tell you, a couple of years ago when I brought my kids here, they were being screamed at by violent vagrants, and it was scaring the hell out of my kids. And one of the things that we've done already in Union Station in just 9 days is we've made it a place where people can walk around safely. They can bring their kids again. They can see this beautiful monument, the architecture. They can have a meal with their friends and their loved ones because again, we brought some law and order back to Washington, D.C. So I want to thank Pete Hegseth and Stephen Miller.
We've gotten rid of the ugly homeless people that are getting in the way of families seeing pretty things as opposed to the conditions that we forced the most marginalized in our society to be. Now that we've introduced law and order and we've continued the cleanup of these disgusting criminals, DC is safe again, everybody. We finally done it. All it took was just clearing out every homeless encampment, arresting anybody that looked at you the wrong way. You know, because these people are harming others. They're really the problem. I'll just have my U.S. passport. I just want to test it out. I mean, it's important to test the waters with these things, right? Hold on, BRB, for sure. Be safe.
I want to thank all the people, the guardsmen here, and the police officers.
They're the Powerpuff Girls. Yeah, I really hate these suits. Is that a tan suit? Is that a tan suit? After Obama wore, after you saw what they did to Obama for wearing a tan suit, you're gonna come out here wearing that? On the cusp of tan? Barely brown? Arguably beige, Stephen Miller? Yeah, I don't like their suits, specifically the middle one. Again, it just screams like alpha bro, financial bro. Like hands, I know your hands are trembling and you got your frat bro drinking problem not under wraps at all. However, like the way in which this department prioritizes aesthetics, and yet like this is a suit that you're going to wear while you're addressing your fascistic control over the nation. You look like shit.
Who worked very hard, and I know that we've traded now some violent, crazy people who are screaming at kids with a few crazy liberals who are screaming at the vice president. But I think that's a very worthwhile trade to make, because we want our people to be able to enjoy our beautiful cities. And the last thing I'll say is to the American people, DC is already safer than it was 9 days ago, but we're going to make it safer still to come. This is your city. You should feel free to come and visit here, have a meal, see all these incredible monuments, and actually enjoy yourself. And that's what we're trying to make happen. And I think that if we set a standard in Washington, D.C., that political willpower can bring some common sense, law and order back to these communities, then maybe some other communities and other cities will follow suit. So it's kind of crazy. You hear these guys outside. They appear to hate the idea that Americans can enjoy their communities, and they do the fact that D.C. a week ago had a higher murder rate than Trinidad and Tobago, which the United States State Department has said you shouldn't visit because it's unsafe. We ought to be able to enjoy great American cities. That's what we're trying to do in the Trump administration, and we want to thank all of our...
So, like, when we talk about, like, he's saying that, you know, American families need to have the right to come to the Capitol and, like, see the beauty of the city, see the wonderful monuments, the testament to our time and dedication to plenty of people. I wonder what they're going to say when they get to the Vietnam section and they see all of the tanks that are over there that have cleared out the veteran homeless that hang out around that area. We need Gavin Newsom. JD Vance is fat and ugly. That part I agree with. We need Gavin Newsom. I was talking earlier about my qualm with Gavin Newsom. Like, I don't necessarily have the biggest problem with him. My issue right now is this, like, I know he's doing cool things, but this, now we are going to fight back, and now we are going to use these methods that we've been able to use this entire time, because, like, the response to redistricting Texas being, we're going to redistrict California, and him saying, okay, well, we're going to redistrict California to the point that the Trump administration won't be able to even win another election. Like, I would rather you go ahead and do that. Why are you waiting until I sound like a deranged leftist moron? We are going to drag you idiots kicking and screaming if we have to vote for the future President Newsom. Enjoy. Okay, cool. Like, why didn't you care about doing this when Trump was... Why'd you wait until it was most beneficial to you? Like, why'd you wait until this point before you said, let's redraw the California maps? If we're fighting fascism, don't we need to be fighting it from every angle we can at all times? Your tone seems pretty pointed right now. I like the... I don't necessarily have a problem with Gavin Newsom was my response, but I would like this one thing to be addressed. To be met with, you sound like a deranged leftist moron. That's a... All right, cool. That's an escalation. But whatever. Yeah, like the saying that we're going to do this now again, that it's convenient to him, and that he's putting his bid in to run for president presumptively. I feel like, you know, maybe just care for these things. You want to point to Gavin Newsom about how he's going to save the country. Well, is he going to save the country for the trans people that he threw under the bus in his podcast? I haven't heard an apology for that from him yet. President Newsom will take care of you. Have a bad day. Okay. Thanks for coming in and saying that. Bye. Anyway, so like the National Mall, you've set it up to be this place where you want families to go to, where they can see the beauty of it. Like, what does military presence do to what you see in the city? Like the idea that having military here lining the streets of the National Mall. Let's see what the DoD says or has. Offering, oh, I'm glad you can see the ducks. I'm glad you can see the ducks there in the Jeep. But like offering like checkpoints that people have to go through in order to be able to visit the National Mall. Seeing this intense military presence all over the place, reminding people of the fact that fascism is rampant and growing every day across the country. What is the goal of having them there if not to enforce violence?
Our law enforcement and National Guardsmen for making it possible. We made a lot of progress in 9 days. We're going to make a whole lot more. I'll let Pete and Stephen Miller say something, and we'll take a few questions from the reporters. So,
Gross.
Mr. Secretary.
How
thank
sick.
You, Mr. Vice President.
I hate
I'll
them.
just start by saying yes and amen to everything you said. The American people, the residents of D.C. deserve a safe and beautiful city. That's our mission. That's what every one of these captains, lieutenants, staff sergeants, specialists, privates, they're here because they're patriots who serve the country and believe we deserve a beautiful, safe capital. And when I talk to all of them, Stephen, we've all had a chance to talk to them, they're proud of this mission. They're proud to be a part of making sure law and order is established here in the capital. We're resourcing them with everything they need, working with our law enforcement partners. So the National Guard, the Defense Department is proud to be standing with you and the President in ensuring we have a safe capital that is beautiful, that residents can come visit. We're committed to this mission, just like the one at the southern border and in Los Angeles. Our law enforcement officers deserve to be able to do their job safely, and American citizens, putting American citizens and our country first, is something President Trump has emphasized from the beginning. So thank you to these troops.
So all through the Pete Hegseth portion there, you heard it from himself. We talked about like the obsession with aesthetics and the obsession with beauty going on, and the way that they clear out these homeless people right now in the city. And there's his focus there, you know, making sure that it's beautiful, making sure that it's good, the aesthetics are clean, as opposed to actually making sure that the people are taken care of, and that the people who live there are enjoying their time. I love when I go on vacation, I get to stand next to tanks with men with machine guns. Exactly. It's a really safe feeling environment, right? Really makes you feel at home. Really makes you feel at home.
I always like the good cheese.
Is that a box of burgers in front of them? Is that what he meant by we're here to give out some hamburgers? He brought a box of hamburgers for the presumably military there to enjoy.
Burger when I was in uniform, so hopefully we can deliver a few of those. It's an honor to be here with you. And
Okay,
also
there's two
thanks
boxes.
for
Don't
being
worry,
here.
there's two boxes of burgers.
And first of all, thank you to the Vice President for bringing us here today. Thank you, Secretary, for your leadership, and most importantly, thank you to the men and women of the National Guard.
I'm gonna be sick.
Here's the most important point. There are residents who lived in Washington, D.C. their entire lives. Their parents lived here. Their grandparents lived here. And they have lived for generations in intolerable conditions of crime and decay. There are parts of the city, I moved to the city 20 years ago. There are places where I've seen graffiti that has been untouched for 2 decades. There are homeless encampments that have made it impossible for families to use public parks and public recreation for as long as I've lived here. There are hundreds of residents of this city who are shot in street violence every single year, making it...
Don't worry, Stephen Miller's here to say the quiet part out loud. He's here to say everything as it is, everything we've been talking about so far, about the obsession with beauty, the obsession with the aesthetics of the place. It's just a matter of, you know, Stephen Miller remembers coming here when he was a kid, and there was a homeless person that dirtied up the place, and he thought that was sick and disgusting, and that the person needed to be killed. So here we are. We talk about the projection that we see from the Republican Party. You know, they're a bunch of pedophiles, so they accuse the Democrats of being a pedophile, running a pedophile cabal, which, sure, they probably are, or at least some of them probably are, you know, the Clintons and whatnot. But when you point towards the entire system of and say that they are a cabal of pedophiles when you yourself are a pedophile, the projection just feels a little bit specific. You know, when you're a white supremacist and all of a sudden you start talking about how you actually care about black people, and it's actually the people outside that are currently protesting, as he'll say in a second. It's actually the people that are outside protesting that are the racists in all this, and that they're the ones that are obsessed with maintaining whitehood. Like, it's just projection of the opinions that he obviously has and has shown to have for years now.
One of the most violent cities on planet Earth. And for too long, 99% of this city has been terrorized by 1% of the city. And the voices that you hear out there those crazy communists, they have no roots, they have no connection to the city, they have no families they are raising in this city, they have no one that they are sending to school in this city, they have no jobs in this city, they have no connections to this community at all. But they're the ones who've been advocating for the 1%, the criminals, the killers, the rapists, the drug dealers. And I'm glad they're here today. Because me, Pete, and the Vice President all get...
The assumption that every immigrant is a rapist, a pedophile, again, a murderer, always continues and is always rampant across this administration. But the, again, idea that, you know, he's happy to say that it's a bunch of white people outside as he is a white supremacist is just consistent projection of the things that they know the people are upset about and want to hear, and trying to reclaim that despite being the people that are causing it to happen. Like, it's the constant we make our own pile of shit and then we smear it all over ourselves and look at you and say, don't you look dumb because we smeared all this shit on ourselves? Look what you've done to us. Like, it's the same process with everything that they do. It's just more directly targeted, but the rhetoric behind anti-immigration is the same as it's always been.
We're going to leave here, and inspired by them, we're going to add thousands more resources to this city to get the criminals and the gang members out of here. We're going to dismantle those networks, and we're going to prove that a city can serve for the law-abiding citizens who live there. We are not...
So what did he just say? What was that little section just there? He called them crazy communists. I remember that part.
They have no roots. They have no connections to the city. They have no families they are raising in this city. They have no one that they are sending to school in this city. They have no jobs in this city. They have no connections to this community at all. But they're the ones who've been advocating for the 1%, the criminals, the killers, the rapists, the drug dealers. And I'm glad they're here today. Because me, Pete, and the Vice President are all going to leave here, and inspired by them, we're going to add thousands more resources to this city to get the criminals and the gang members out of here. We're going to...
So let's track what's happened so far. So far, we have Washington, D.C. That was overtaken by Trump claiming ownership over the D.C. police and claiming right to lead them and giving the control to Pam Bondi to lead them with. Then we move on to bringing in the National Guard in order to help make sure that everything's going to be okay in D.C., further escalating things. And upon this increased military presence, upon this increased police presence, as well as the fascistic overthrow going on right now, you have people protesting. And so the people that have instituted this violence, who have allowed this violence to continue for so long, who are also the instigators in this violence, are now using the crowd that they have drawn as an excuse to double down and increase the violence, and increase the presence of the police, and increase the powers at which the police and potentially the military have in terms of what they can do to the population out there. Also, I love the using the language of the 1% and the 99%. So you're telling me, Stephen Miller, that if the 1% is full of liars and rapists and murderers and pedophiles, if the 1% is full of this group of people, then it's okay for us to do whatever it takes to bring them down? Is that what you're saying, Stephen Miller? Does that apply to everything, or does it just apply to your special exception when it comes to immigrants and their the things that you don't like about them? Or does that apply to the, 1% that owns 60% of the wealth in the entire world? The 1% that owns the majority of all capital? Should we be treating them and looking at them in the same way, Stephen Miller? Or is it just the brown people that you don't like?
We're going to dismantle those networks, and we're going to prove that a city can serve for the law-abiding citizens who live there. We are not going to let the communists destroy a great American city, let alone the nation's capital. And let's just also address one other thing. All these demonstrators that you've seen out here in recent days, all of these elderly white hippies, they're not part of the city and never have been. And by the way, most of the citizens who live in Washington, D.C. are black. This is not a city that has had any safety for its black citizens for generations. And President Trump is the one who is fixing that with the support of the Metropolitan Police Department, the support of the National Guard, and our federal law enforcement officers. So
because what the black community needs is more policing.
That all need to go home and take a nap because they're all over 90 years old, and we're going to get back to the business of protecting the American people and the citizens of Washington, D.C.
Thank you, Stephen. A few questions.
Well, if you've ever been to Union Station in the last few years with your family, you know that crime is actually extremely high right here in Union Station. You have vagrants, you have drug addicts, you have the chronically homeless, you have the mentally ill who harass, who threaten violence, who attack families, and they've done it for far too long. This should be a monument to American greatness. This should be a place where you can come and share a meal or go shopping with your family. It should not be a place where parents of small children are afraid to bring them because, to Stephen's point, we have empowered criminals over the people who actually need public safety in the city. So I think Union Station is a great example of what's possible when you actually have the political willpower to bring law and order and common decency back to the public spaces of the United States of America. So many Americans live in cities, they occupy these spaces, they know how unsafe they are, and they would love to be able to just live their life in places like Union Station without violent criminals making it impossible. We have changed so much in 9 days, and I thought it important to highlight how great of a space this could be, how easy it could be to actually enjoy something like Union Station if you just had politicians who stopped prioritizing violent criminals over the public citizens who deserve public safety in their own communities.
And to add to that real quick, we talked to a first responder before we came up here, said this is their #1 call location is Union Station for first responders. So it's not as if this is insignificant. In many ways, this is part of the epicenter. And we go to that and return it to the safe location that it should be. It also frees up resources around the city. And you've seen a majority of the arrests happening in a lot of those places that need help.
That's right. Well, look, we'll ultimately let the President of the United States determine where we are after 30 days of this emergency order. I think that we're going to make a lot of progress over the next 20 days. I think that we're 9 days into this thing. But if the President of the United States thinks that he has to extend this order to ensure that people have access to public safety, then that's exactly what he'll do. If he thinks he doesn't have to do that, obviously he'll make that determination. But what we're going to do is try to empower these guys to do as good of a job as possible to bring public safety and order back to Washington, D.C. This is the national, cultural, and political capital of the world's...
This is so gross. This is so gross. This is so gross. Yeah, so looks like Mayor Bowser in DC, the Democrat mayor, is saying that we need 500 additional police officers to address everything. Said about a couple of hours ago, which is very exciting. I wanted to play.
Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Scott Thuman.
And I'm Michelle Marsh. Tonight, 7 News pressing Mayor Bowser about some questions that remain unanswered since the start of the federal takeover.
How is MPD coordinating this operation with federal authorities and her plan to provide hundreds of additional officers that she says MPD still needs? 7 News' Josh Chapin joining us now. And Josh, you were able to pose these questions to the mayor today. So what did you hear?
Well, Scott, not only did we ask her about how all these agencies, all the extra agents are being coordinated with federal officials and MPD, but as you said, we went back to the mayor to go back to a statement she made on Monday about the need for 500 additional MPD officers. Take a listen.
Josh Chapin from Channel 7. You had said the other day about the need for 500 more officers on the street. What are you doing at this point to sort of set the table for that? And in the interim, you've talked about this a little bit, but can the feds help? You have all these sort of trained law enforcement professionals.
We wanted to clarify why a city she has consistently characterized as having historically low crime numbers would need hundreds of new police officers. She and Chief Pamela Smith both saying their goal is to drive down crime with the additional help and tap into the extra resources available to them. Here's the rest of that answer.
I think that we want to be known as the place where everybody wants to work. There are some policy concerns among our current officers about the policing environment in the city. And we know that's going to require some changes to the law.
Mayor Bowser said she'll continue to have conversations with council and the MPD about the changes to the law. She didn't specify what those were, but the D.C. Police Union has suggested D.C. laws that are soft on prosecuting suspects under 25 are a major issue. The mayor and the chief, Scott and Michelle, insisting they are working closely with federal officers. They're working on the deployment every day and how these federal resources are being used. The mayor also forcefully emphasized at one point during this news conference, quote, "There is no takeover." Coming up at 6, I'll have much more on what she said and what the chief had to say in this most detailed news conference that we have seen since the beginning of this operation last week. Again, when we see you with that at 6 o'clock. Scott and Michelle, back to you.
Back to you, Scott and Michelle.
Tonight. Thank you, Josh. And during
Thanks, Josh.
Conference, questions were also raised about the Justice Department launching an investigation into whether DC crime stats have been manipulated. As we've been reporting for months now, numbers show crime is...
They were talking about the numbers on the news the other day, and in real time, the anchor, what a cop-out. What metrics are even able to be analyzed after 9 days? Like what? Right? They were talking the other day about the numbers on air. Let me see if I can find the video real quick, because it was funny. Crime in DC, numbers, morning, or wait, was it Fox and Friends? Fox and Friends. Where is Fox and Friends? Let's just go to their YouTube. But we saw a video in which they, in real time, realized that they were reporting the numbers incorrectly and just immediately tried to move on from the conversation. Where did it go? Fox News posts so much. It's so hard to keep up with what they post. Liberal actor I don't care about. Where did it go? Sanctuary cities, complier face. I'm not gonna be able to find it, am I? Oh well. 68 arrests in one night. Fox and Friends. DC crime numbers. No, I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. Oh well. Oh well. But yeah, there's no data that they can actually be able to pull out at this moment in time that would actually show what they want it to. They talk about arrests. I'm really interested to see what they mean by arrests as opposed to like what ends up being charged. Police in DC, wards 7 and 8. So here's like,
I'd like to see.
Here's what an actual community member has to say about what's going on in DC right now.
If we're going to allocate resources like that, to allocate them and disperse them evenly, right? Like this is all supposed to be for the betterment of the people of DC. Not
speaking about just not setting up shop at the National Mall, not just setting up shop where they want to have the biggest show of force in terms of like media coverage, as well as concentration of power. What he's talking about is specifically making sure that if they care about crime, well, let's stop crime everywhere, not just where they deem fit.
Just the people in certain areas. So make it for the people of DC.
Tanner Rausch lives and works just blocks from where there were 2 shootings on the same corner Monday evening.
Crime's everywhere. You're never going to avoid it. But if the goal is to clean up crime and to clean up the city, then clean up the whole city.
But I will agree, something needs to be done with violent offenders who don't get the message. Because we shouldn't suffer because of them either.
In 11 days, the White House says there have been more than 400.
That was a wild cutout from his interview.
Many of them here in Ward 7 and 8. Ronald Moulton is a Ward 8 violence prevention advocate and business owner.
We don't want mass incarceration. We want to get bad people who are committing violent crimes off our streets. And when you come, you know, with masks on, and you just come and you snatching people, and you're locking people up for petty crimes, that's not the answer. The answer is to get these bad people off our streets and not snatch innocent people up, or people who have minor offenses up and throw them in jail.
Mike Austin is a
True, based. That's so based. Like, it's just the same conservative maintenance that they always do. They don't actually care about solving the problems. They just want to exploit it for as much as they can, for as much as their own personal gain. You know, they don't care about making sure that they're arresting the violent offenders. They're just arresting anybody who gets in their face. It's just mass arrests happening. And also the difference between, like, okay, sure, arrests are happening. That's very different from, like, these people being brought up on charges and going through due process and being arrested. Who knows if that'll happen, though, or if they'll just be shipped out of the country through through some shady means and operation. I mean, the hypocrisy is always just blatantly on its face,
He's
but
concerned no one is talking to people about what's being done to protect their neighborhoods.
Has there been any communication, whether it's from our local government or even higher up than that, with community members here or even local leaders here in Ward 7 and 8 about what is happening or the logistics and plans of it all?
Absolutely not. I mean, we received all our news from, of course, local news like you all, and of course, watching the mayor, but there's been no communication.
We didn't have to be in this position.
no word from Democrats in general about what they should be doing, about what people need to be doing right now. No word. We watched a long Hakeem Jeffries interview yesterday where there were plenty of opportunities in which he was asked specifically, what is the plan moving forward? And every single step of the way, he said, all right, well, the Republicans are against democracy, and we are going to fight back in a coordinated effort in order to make sure that we are coordinating our effort of fighting back. And that was the extent of his offerings, as opposed to instead saying, all right, so here's what's happening on the streets. What the general person needs to do is to go out, make sure that if you go out, you wear goggles, make sure that you have water, make sure that you don't put milk in your eyes if you get tear gas in them. You don't have Democrats going around and saying, hey, watch out, in 10 hours, your tent and everything you own is going to be taken away from you as the military state rolls by. Instead, those people just got to go over to their tent and find that they had a sticker on it saying that your stuff is going to be cleared out within 8 hours. It's not enough of a police state. Gotta have more police, and that's what Stephen Miller said. That's what Stephen Miller said, that his answer, all those crazy communists outside that were yelling at Stephen Miller and J.D. Vance and hurting their feelings, all it's done is convince Pete, Stephen, and Jay that they need to double down and increase the military presence, and they're going to go back straight to Trump and tell him that he needs to double down everything, as the D.C. mayor says we're going to bring in 500 more troops, as every red state around sends in their own National Guard to be able to help out the problem. Like, they're just adding police to the fire further and further, and again, they're not addressing any of the actual problems, any of the things that lead to crime, lead to the violent offenders they're talking about. Don't want to address any of the things. We just want to get rid of them. We just want to clear them out. We just want to maintain the pretty patina, maintain the beauty of DC. Not to mention that through this entire process, you maintain getting rid of the culture that makes a city what it is and makes a city the thing that you want to defend in the first place. It's crazy how close they are to realizing that creating police states does nothing to make communities safer, and yet their solution is not enough of a police state. That is entirely what I see the problem to be, actually. I couldn't agree more. Just throw more police at the problem. They'll fix it, right? They'll make everything better.
And now that we're in this position, we should be coming together to try to fix it in a sensible way.
Gross. Pigs. All right, so we're 10 days in, I think, and people or the administration has not been pleased. They have not been given the feeling of being full, I guess, yet. Is there anything else fun happening before I start to close things down? Looking over the general YouTube news section. Buckle down for Hurricane Aaron. Looks like it's going to be hitting Florida, from my understanding. 550 arrests. CBP officers deputized.
Elements this morning on the federal takeover in D.C. Customs and Border Patrol agents are now teaming up with U.S. Park Police to protect national park sites. The Department of Interior Secretary says these officers are being deputized, which basically means they can make arrests. Now, this comes as we have new numbers from the White House on this operation. Since August 7th, officers have made more than 550 arrests. They say of those, 3 are known gang members, including
that's their own reporting, and they're only going to put down that they've caught 3 known gang members. Like, one, that's already a disgusting ratio right there. 550 arrests versus 3 gang members. But also, you're making these numbers up however you want. Why would you only put 3 gang members? Put 550 arrests, 550 gang members. Yeah, the 48 homeless camps cleared is absolutely disgusting. The lives being ruined, and every single time a homeless camp needs to be cleared, not only is it the life being ruined, but it's also taxpayer dollars of you have the people that are clearing it out. You have the people that are running the machinery. Typically, they use prison labor. I don't know if they're using prison labor because it is on the National Mall, but typically they use prison labor to clear out homeless encampments. Slave labor to clear out these sorts of things. The other 450, those are the communists. Those are the terrorists. I'm so glad you asked. Those are equally dangerous people that need to be killed, probably. Those the other 450 arrests, don't ask about those. Those 450 people will disappear. It'll be like they were never there to begin with. It's fine.
One who is allegedly a member of MS-13. They've also recovered 76 guns.
Also, 76 guns. They say that they're recovering 76 guns. They're only going after handguns. Keep in mind that they are not going after shotguns or long-range rifles. Typically, they're going after handguns, which is more commonly found amongst the black community.
And cleared 48 homeless encampments. Right now, the National Guard, MPD, and ICE agents are patrolling the D.C. neighborhoods and all reporting different statistics on how many people have been arrested. 7 News' Cara Willis is breaking down the numbers for us this morning and has a look at some of the pushback on the streets.
The vice president personally thanking federal law enforcement for stepping in to help crack down on crime in the city.
Gross.
DC is already safer than it was.
Hey, we watched that.
But we're going to make it safer still.
According to DC police, 527 arrests have been made since August 7th. Early Wednesday, the White House reporting a higher number, saying 551 total arrests have been made in the district in that same time.
Can't tell you exactly what they report or how they report or coordinate their number.
But the feds say any arrest made during the federal enforcement falls under the operations arrest total, regardless of which agency makes the arrest.
What people have to understand is that with an additional...
So wait, if somebody just comes by and gets arrested because they were drunk driving, that's included in the arrest? It's not just arrest related to the actual ongoing occupation of the military. It's just any arrest that's happened in this time frame.
500 more officers, you're going to have more arrests, you're going to have more traffic stops and those types of things. So we have to anticipate that because we have an influx of police presence.
A White House official said of the 551 reported arrests, 225 were related to immigration enforcement. They say 3 of those arrested are alleged gang members. As the operation...
All right, so what was that?
Gang members. 5 were related to immigration enforcement.
255 were related
to immigration enforcement.
So that's 255 that are related to immigration enforcement. So that's presumably 255 families whose lives have been ruined.
They say 3 of those arrested are alleged gang members. As the
The other
operation
are,
continues,
you know,
federal
just
officers,
average,
including
everyday
ICE agents,
Americans.
are being met with some vocal opposition in D.C. streets. This scene in Columbia Heights Tuesday, with a crowd chanting at federal officers until they eventually leave.
Hell yeah.
Wednesday, Chief Pamela Smith urging protesters not to go too far.
What we don't want is for community members to interfere and get involved in things that is a police-related matter.
Carl Willis, 7 News.
The last thing we want is people, you know, protesting the police. You know, if you could just not protest the police, that would be a lot easier for us. We just don't want regular people going out and, like, you know, having their voices be heard in front of a violent and police state military. Like, what? That's the line you're gonna run with is let's make sure that we treat our ooh, what is that? Oh, is that a glowstone? Oh, fuck yeah. Got a glow ring. Now we aren't afraid of the dark.
Well, we've been trying to answer your questions on how the government and local agencies involved are working together. Now we have an example. We told you yesterday morning about troops deployed to these 10 metro stations, including Waterfront. At that stop on Monday, the National Guard helped prevent a dangerous situation from getting worse. 2 guardsmen, pictured here on your screen, were on patrol when they saw a man take out a knife and threaten another person. They alerted police, who then intervened. One of the guardsmen went on to say, quote, "We showed our presence and then made sure that citizens around that area were safe. To do that, we had to partner up and communicate with the law enforcement officers that were nearby, making sure that we had eyes and ears in the situation to keep everyone safe." It is important to note that right now the National Guard is not making arrests. The White House says they may be armed, but their current mission is to be visible to deter crime.
And the impact of federal control isn't just playing out in City Hall, it is also being felt inside restaurants and bars where owners are trying to balance public safety with customer confidence. And our John Gonzalez joins us now live from downtown, where owners are hoping Restaurant Week will finish strong. Good morning, John.
That's absolutely right. Good morning, Melanie. You know, during the first week of this federal survey,
You know, every time another business closes, every time a another person gets kept out of the capital hellscape due to what is going on right now, is another opportunity in which the administration just shows they don't care about small business. They don't actually care about the things that they claim to. They simply care about their own wealth and their own enrichment. You know, they have every opportunity to make sure they aren't harming small business through the loss of tourism, through the loss of people going out in general, through the loss of revenue from, you know, from business people going out for lunches. Now people have their lunches at home. Like, there's so many losses of revenue that are taking place, not to mention the fucking cost of all of this. If we're sending in thousands and thousands of National Guard members into this city in order to maintain the state for 30 days, how much does this cost by the end? And where's the conversation about how we're paying for this, as opposed to, like, how we, the conversation being how we pay for, like, student loan forgiveness or, like, universal health care? But of course, we've always got, as you know, unlimited money for the war machine, for defense, for making sure that we can protect the fifis, the feelings of our armed officers who are, you know, emotionally stunted, so that they join. I really don't like the intermingling of the departments. I've brought this up before, but you know, it's when you have deputized ICE agents and you have deputized Nazis running around, all of these departments already have Nazis in them, obviously, but like the intermingling and the further connection is not what I want to see between these departments. Like having more access to Nazis in your face now, as opposed to just like reading about them online or hearing the talking points from them and like having that as a conversation with your buddy. Now you're actively working alongside, arm in arm, with that white supremacist Nazi who's actually just there to harm people. Better yet, you're going out for drinks later with that person. Better yet, you actually went to their kids. Like, the intermingling of these lives in this way is just another part of the normalization towards these like fascistic and headstrong and strong arm bully systems.
Restaurant reservations saw a sharp decline. Some restaurant owners telling me record low numbers. Take a look at your screen. Data from Open Table shows year-over-year declines ranging from 20 to 30% on several days. Well, this week, there are signs diners are coming back, at least for now. Monday, during the first day of this year's restaurant.
Well, if you're gonna say that it's a sign of them coming back because they happen to show up on the first day of one of your like major food holidays, saying that diners are back, like I'm not. Come on, that's not how that works.
Week here in the district, which also includes Maryland and Virginia, reservations surged 29% compared to 2024. Some businesses, well, they say the visible presence of federal agents has kept customers away. One nightclub owner told 7 News he lost more than $15,000 in a single evening. At the same time, the White House administration argues the numbers are being taken out of context. Officials
You got to read it in context.
Last year's restaurant week took place earlier in August, boosting comparisons.
I do think that the presence of federal government, law enforcement officials on some of our busiest corridors might have an impact, but I think it's too early to tell.
All right.
Because of these other factors.
In the city, the amount of crime or fear of crime is significant. And, you know, the rhetoric about this extra support in the city, I mean, and these are our military, like they should provide a sense of peace. I would love for us to stop making this political, support our restaurants.
I'd love to stop making this political. It's a fascistic overtake. Support our restaurants. I need people to grow the fuck up. I'm so tired of hearing people say like, oh, I don't wanna talk about this. I don't wanna deal with this right now. I don't wanna think. I don't want this to be political. It's fucking political. It already is. We're already there. The fascism is here. We're being taken over. There's a genocide ongoing. Either you care or you don't. If you don't care, that's fine. Just be open about it. Don't do this whole, I wish we didn't have to make things political. Things are always going to be political. Grow the fuck up.
Recently heading to a restaurant here in D.C.
Sorry, apparently that's my trigger.
Another factor, immigrant workers may be playing a role in all of this. Restaurants say that they are short-staffed. Workers in the restaurants and delivery drivers afraid to show up right now. Now, organizers call this event, Restaurant Week,
I've been arguing with people all week about like, as every Zionist comes in here and wants to argue with me about like Hamas being terrorists and me having to explain to them like what is the designation of a terrorist. Like the point is to cause fear on these communities. Like you have immigrants who are afraid to go to the hospital because ICE is set up at the welcome station to grab you in case you're brown. You have immigrants who are afraid to go to work because they are afraid that ICE is going to show up. And you have businesses that specifically have to like create into their code system a button that they can easily press that says to the back kitchen where all the immigrants are, hey, ICE is here, get the fuck out. All like, this is absolutely disgusting. And we talk about like what terrorism is and looks like. This is terrorism, causing them to work under these conditions and then treat them like shit because of it. Not because of shit wages, deportation, shitty work conditions. No, none of that. Restaurants are short-staffed because of fear. Oh no, I know what you mean. The fear mongering that's taken place of like the fake crime statistics that's come out. Like saying that saying that crime is up 30%, or like I saw specifically them saying that arson was up 30%. And yes, arson was up 30%. Last year there were 3 arsons, or the year before last there were 3 arsons. Last year there were 4 arsons. Like the fear mongering that they choose to cover is absolutely disgusting, and they use it as you mentioned to keep people at home. You know, the fear mongering they use is specifically meant to make people uncomfortable and breed fear of their neighbors. Not only do you have to be worried about your neighbor who you're talking to right now, you also need to be worried about the fact that there's an armed person behind you that has a gun. But this idea of like this country being a crime-ridden bedlam destruction zone is false. The crime numbers have been going down year after year, aside from like a little spike in COVID that happened which reasonable and mostly due to, I think that was mostly like armed robberies and things along that line. But as tensions get higher during a high tension time, I'm not really surprised that there's a crime spike. But every year going down since then, and yet the consistent platform of the Republicans is that crime is getting worse and worse, and that every day we're more and more likely to be shot down in the street. And like when you hear Trump talk about crime and the fact that he wants to cut down on white collar crime and instead focus on like the crime of like hearing that his friend got pushed down onto the ground by a black person, a violent offender, and like his little anecdotes that he pulls out without pulling out any statistics. It's just the same fear mongering, the same like sowing of distrust into your neighbor. The way in which people can't even like hold others accountable anymore on the street. That was one thing that I got pretty good at in Chicago when I lived there, was like when you're walking down the street and you see some bullshit or somebody treating others disrespectfully, calling them out on that. But like there's such a fear for people to call others out, and I experienced this as well, because like the idea of you don't know what the other person is going to do at any moment. Anybody can have a gun or a weapon on them. Like all of these systems have been designed this way to specifically sow fear into our everyday lives. They don't want to get rid of open carry in public, because if they get rid of open carry in public, well, public becomes a lot safer. Public becomes becomes a bigger place that you want to be a part of. If you're in public, what happens if you're in public? You're more likely to spend time with community members. If you spend time with community members, what's bound to happen? You're more likely to gain tolerance for those community members. We can't have that. Instead, what we would prefer is for everybody to live in their little social bubble of their car and their house. When you're in your car or your house, you are protected from the outside world, and you're away from the scary things that exist out there. But it's an ever-growing like decrease in social trust and social in society in general. Of like, again, I got a lot better at it in terms of being in Chicago and calling people out when they were like doing some bullshit. And 9 out of 10 times, absolutely nothing came out of it other than the thing stopped. Like I had one situation in which somebody threatened to kill me due to my asking them not to do something. But they're also a crazy person, and they're probably going to threaten to kill me regardless. Like, but generally speaking, when you ask people to like show others respect, especially if there's like a herd mentality around that, they're going to conform to that. They're going to listen to what you have to say. But no, we have to wonder about every single person. You never know if somebody's going to have a gun. You never know if somebody's going to... Ooh, I have a cutscene. You never know if anyone's going to cause you harm. But yeah, they're not going to restaurants out of fear. That's definitely the reason that they're short-staffed. It's because they're scared of the they're scared of the crime happening all around them. It's not a matter of they're afraid of the Gestapo coming in and ripping them from their jobs.
Lifeline during August when Congress is in recess. Locals and travelers are typically staying
That was a weird
away
cutscene.
from restaurants in August. They say the toughest test could still lie ahead if this presidential order is extended. Reporting live, John Gonzalez, 7 News.
Thank you, John. And it has now been 2 weeks
Thanks, John.
since the federal crime crackdown began in D.C. And as we reported to you earlier, authorities say they have recovered 76 guns so far. So take a look at this video. It shows federal agents seizing at least one gun on Minnesota Avenue in Southeast. That community has grappled with gun violence.
I look like a handgun, not a rifle. Again, they're not going after rifles or shotguns, just handguns.
And more gun seizures.
I'm happy that they're getting guns off the street. Anytime we get one gun off the street, it's a win for the city, because that they have not been able to use that gun in a potential crime.
And Davis plans to hold
I
a
agree.
crime walk on
And I
Monday.
wonder what the cutoff of that interview was of like, anytime, like, yeah, that's absolutely true. Anytime they get a gun off the street is a good thing, but like, what is the gun that they're getting off the street? Does it come at the unlawful arrest of another person? Are you stripping somebody of their Second Amendment right unlawfully? Like, what is the? You love hearing talking about like we need the proper context for us to be able to judge adequately. Well, what is the proper context?
Day to raise awareness about her community's public safety needs. It'll begin at 3 p.m. at Boone Elementary on Minnesota Avenue in Southeast. And we want to give you a heads up about a new extended juvenile curfew in D.C. This is along the U Street corridor for kids and teens under 18 years old. The zone starts at 8 each night, tonight through Sunday. And a reminder, there is still a citywide curfew through August every day from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m.
America be like, guns good except when people I don't like have the guns, then guns bad. Absolutely. There's a I think it's a black anarchist group. Black anarchist group, open carry. Yeah, I remember hearing about this years ago, but this was specifically the NFAS, I believe, but the NFAC. But it's an all-black group, and what they would do is specifically whenever there would be an open carry protest for, like generally held by white supremacist or racist organizations, they would show up and they would say, yeah, we're here for the open carry protest, and then all of a sudden animosity went up. All of a sudden things got a little bit more intense. Like, it's the hypocrisy is so gross. We're all for Second Amendment until it actually comes time for everyone to have guns. So, like, when the people I don't like have guns, like you said, then we got to get them out. This whole juvenile thing, they're talking a lot more about juvenile crime right now, and my running theory is that they're talking about juvenile crime in an effort to lower the age of arrest, in order to say that we can now try kids as younger than 18 as adults. I think that this is an effort to lower that age as a like full force effort to lower the age of like child labor laws in order to arrest people that are younger than 18. Obviously, if they don't want to work in the mines for 10 cents a day, we can put them to slave labor in the prison system and have them working for 2 cents a day. Wonderful options. But I've seen, I think, 5 news stories from Fox come out over the past 2 days about the juvenile crime wave happening right now, and I'm really scared about where that leads, because I think it leads to a place of them trying to treat children more like adults in every aspect that they can. Oh, that video's over. Oops. Let's look at the other data.
President Trump took to Truth Social this week to accuse city leaders of giving fake numbers to create a false illusion of safety. And last week, 7 News told you about a lawsuit that was just settled by a former MPD sergeant who claimed that crimes were routinely misclassified on purpose. Both Chief Smith and the mayor say they will fully cooperate and answer any questions that DOJ has.
Good.
I have not been contacted, but I am aware that there may be or will be subpoenas issued. I don't know to whom, but that's all I know at this point. We know that crime has gone down in our city, and it has gone down precipitously over the last 2 years.
That's a nice word, precipitously.
Changes to our public safety ecosystem, including changes to the law. And we know that those facts don't comport to what some people are saying.
All right, you can see my full story about the former employee's lawsuit in this case on our website, WJLA.com, and on the 7 News YouTube page.
And we do know right now there are hundreds of arrests happening across the district. Our Washington, D.C. reporter Felicia Ashley joining us live now from Northeast D.C. And Felicia, a lot of these videos surfacing on social media, our viewers likely have seen them. What do we know about the people who are being arrested, and what are they accused of?
What do we know about these people?
All right, well, I reached out to the U.S. Marshals about this, and for the breakdown of these arrests, and they laid it out like this. They said every single arrest that happens in the district under this operation, under this current takeover, is listed under those numbers that the White House shares with us. So it doesn't matter who makes the arrest or what the arrest is for. So what I did now today is I looked through each arrest to see if these arrests are making an impact in crime on our streets. Here's the math. The White House reported this morning that since August 7th, there have been 550 total arrests in the district. Marshals tell me 225 of those people are undocumented. 3 are allegedly gang members. Ward 8 Councilman Trayon White spent some time in the courthouse this week with some of those arrested.
I went down to sit in one of the court hearings on Monday, and it was 150 people have been arrested this weekend, mostly east of Anacostia River.
Information from the White House backs that up. They tell 7 News half of the arrests that didn't include immigration violations were from Ward 7 and 8. Councilman White tells 7 News he's concerned about the type of crimes that people are being arrested for, but agrees that more law enforcement is needed to prevent violent crimes in the area.
What we want to do is help prevent crime, be proactive, and we need additional resources. Police in itself is not the end-all solution to addressing crime in Washington, D.C. We need wraparound services, mental health services, substance abuse, jobs, all those things to help people become whole individuals.
Hang on, I want to look at the framing of that.
7th White House this week with some of those arrested. Include immigration violations were from Ward 7 and 8. Councilman White tells 7 News he's concerned about the type of crimes that people are being arrested for, but agrees that more law enforcement is needed to prevent violent crimes in the area.
That's a really crazy way of saying, like, the the framing of that, of...
Councilman White tells 7 News he's concerned about the type of crimes that people are being arrested for, but agrees that more law enforcement is needed to prevent violent crimes in the area.
All right, so they say that he agrees that there needs to be more law enforcement to address the violent crime in the area. That's what they said he said. What does he actually say?
Help prevent crime, be proactive, and we need additional resources. Police in itself is not the end-all solution to addressing crime in Washington, D.C. We need wraparound services, mental health services, substance abuse, jobs, all those things.
It sounds like he actually said, we don't necessarily need specifically violent law enforcement. We need mental health services. We need social safety nets. We need these other things aside from law enforcement. So this like news, ABC News narrator commentary of, well, he thinks that law enforcement is more law enforcement is necessary. Does he though? Does he, or is that what you think and what you want him to say?
To help people become whole individuals.
What I also learned today out of the
It's interesting because they also cut it off right there and didn't have him say any more, even though we can see the conversation
all those
continue.
things to help people become whole individuals.
What was the end of that sentence? I wonder. What
I also learned today.
What does that conversation go on to say? Like you're going to say that he believes that we need more law enforcement to deal with violent offenses, but the only part of the clip you're actually going to show is him saying that. Is this councilman saying that law enforcement isn't enough to address this issue? In fact, we need mental health services. We need coordinators throughout the community. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Out of the total amount of arrests, more than 100 of those are currently listed as others. So right now we're pushing to find out more details about those arrests. What we also learned today, the U.S. Marshals now offering a $500 bounty to details that now lead to an arrest. And those are all arrests, part of the now growing 500 total arrests here in the district. Now reporting live from Northeast.
Great. So now there's a bounty out there. Now there's a bounty system in our nation's capital of if you give details that lead to an arrest, you can get up to $500. I wonder how many falsities are going to be thrown out there towards any anti-Zionist or anybody on the left. I wonder what's going to happen there.
East DC, Felicia Ashley, 7 News.
Free D.C. chants could be heard during a visit by Vice President J.D. Vance and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to Union Station today. They bought lunch from Shake Shack to thank some of the members who have been deployed around the city.
So sweet of them.
Everyone was happy to see them. Vice President Vance making note of the protesters who were shouting in the background while touting safety improvements.
I think you hear these guys outside here screaming at us. Of course, these are a bunch of crazy protesters. But I'll tell you, a couple of years ago when I brought my kids here,
we already watched this. Anyway, everybody, things are fun. Things are fun, and more importantly, I have some stuff I'm going to go do. Specifically, I've got some videos that I want to go edit and take care of. So I'm going to, I think, hop off a little bit early today. Because I was also thinking about only streaming for 2 hours. So, thank you everybody for stopping in today. Thank you for everybody we had come by. I appreciate it. We got some new followers. Very exciting. I appreciate everybody that stopped by. And as I say goodbye today, I just want to continue imploring to everybody to, while out there in the big old wide world, to make sure that you're safe, make sure that you don't do anything to instigate against the fascists, against the Nazis that are taking to our streets right now. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Everybody be safe out there. I hope you have fun, and goodbye. There it is. Goodbye.
Flames rise, the sky ablaze, shadows writhe in hell's dark maze. Swords clash, the echoes scream, blood-soaked ground, a devil's dream. Fire rains, the battle call.
Map worrying for vitality.
Dance as heaven falls. Warriors wail, the damned ignite. Infernal's wrath, eternal night. Steel bites, the heavens quake. Flesh and bone, the earth will break. Ashes rain, the reapers feast. Darkness spreads, a crimson beast. Thunder cracks, the end draws near. Hope draws in the ocean of fear. Angels weep.